Welcome in. It is on the road. We are off and running here on a Friday night. Plenty of action across the Palmetto State. On the high school side of things, Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird at Master Control as we are talking about high school football from 7 to 11 tonight. Glad you're joining us. A lot of big-time matchups. I'm officially on the record as of 1:30 picking games. I don't know how Ford looped me into that.
That's how he does it every time. Every time. You don't plan on picking games when you go on to the show with him, but he will pull that fast one on you.
Yeah, I never plan on picking games, ever, especially high school games. And here I am, just flapping in the wind, picking games. We'll talk about them.
He's got you on the record now.
Yeah,
Can't go back too far. Can't go back too far.
Now, the point of this would be if I nail it, and we were talking just before we came on air, full disclosure, by the way, 803-404-6100, where you can get us on the Love Chevy phone lines, or you can watch us on the YouTubes, the Game TV on YouTube, and then, of course, hit us on the artist formerly known as Twitter with your score updates throughout the night. Got plenty of big games to get to. We were talking before we came on air about, this is the first time Elijah and I have seen each other since Saturday happened.
I know, I
so
missed you.
We were saying how unfortunate it was. The atmosphere was sort of, wasted, but it just didn't come to pass. And so we started talking about, well, if you take 2 of 3 here and you take 2 of 3 here, treating football like baseball, which is totally okay.
We get to play the schedule game a little longer. It's not just a preseason exercise anymore.
True.
We can still play the schedule game now.
That's true. I had to pick 4 games. I was talking about 4 games, by the way, every Friday, 1:30 on the halftime show. Part of the 1 o'clock hour, which is football, and more. Football.
Can't get enough, baby.
Talked AC Flora South Point, talked Barnwell and Swansea, talked Chapin Somerville, talked R&E Camden.
That's the game.
It's the game of the week. It's not the TV game, but it's the game of the week. And it's going to be a really good one because Will Wilson is a stud. And when you look across this state and you look at some of these games, let's go ahead and talk about them. AC Flora is at South Point. I usually try to pick 4 or 5 big-time Midlands games since we are in the heart of the Midlands. But AC Flora is going up to South Point. Region game. We're back. Region action here today.
Oh, this is exciting. We're at this point of the season.
We're still 2 weeks away from October, folks. But AC Flora is at South Point. Again, all-name club for the quarterbacks is Roper Winsky. All-name club.
Yes.
All-name club.
I don't know if there's a close second.
This is an opener for both teams. I still went with South Point, though. AC Flora is putting up points. I got to find them here on my handy-dandy region. See, here are the splits. They're outscoring opponents 119 to 106. South Point, 2-2, outscoring opponents 151 to 57. Defense.
Point differential matters when trying to project some of this.
It does. And again, quarterback Cam McMillan is a transfer from Fairfield Central. He missed the first 2. He's played in the last 2. We'll watch that game as it goes. My favorite storyline thus far, one of my 2 favorite storylines, is what's happening down in Swansea.
Yes.
Now, I don't live close to Swansea, but I'm not exactly far away either. So I'm not saying I could throw a rock and hit it. I'm just saying. They're 4-0, and everybody knows it because it's the first time they've been 4-0 since the second Obama administration, 2012.
Wow. I was still in high school. We were still in high school.
I was.
We graduated
in November of 2012, I was a junior. So, and South Carolina was in the midst of arguably their greatest season of football ever. Swansea won 10 games that year. I threw this number out, and Elijah was probably show prepping for that master class that he and Phillips put on every day from 3 to 6 on the post-game show. Check better be in the mail.
That's right.
But
3 to 5 business days, baby.
But
as always,
Swansea over under averaging 180 yards rushing per game. Over or under?
And guessing in what they've done already.
Yes, to this point this season.
Oh, give me the over, baby. Pound the rock.
Yes, 249.5 yards rushing per game.
Nasty work, baby. Nasty work. They must be killing it in those trenches.
They're 4-0. And
big one tonight.
Buddy. They got a big one, though, at home against Barnwell.
A Barnwell team that was in the undefeated club until just last week.
But Barnwell has won 3 straight in this series, and they lead the all-time matchup 31-11.
Oh, man. This is a Cinderella story.
Ranked.
Ripe.
They're both ranked. Swansea's 9.
Right for Swansea to win.
And I've got Barnwell at 6 in 2A, division down, or classification down, but it's a rivalry game. But Barnwell owns the series. All signs pointing to a Warhorse win. Picking Swansea.
That's right, baby. Conventional wisdom. That's how this works. You know how this works. You've been doing this long enough. You know how this works.
One of my favorite matchups tonight is Chapin at Somerville.
Yes, undefeated v. undefeated.
Yes.
2 teams enter the club. 1 team gets to stay.
Fighting Preston Thorns.
That's right. That's right. Good program there.
But they're meeting up with Brady Albro. Somerville's ranked number 4 in Class 5A. Chapin is receiving votes. He's thrown for... They've played 4 games. He's thrown 14 touchdowns and has 1,000 yards passing. That's insane. By the way,
we are on pace for potentially if they go 2 games in the playoff, 3,000-yard season.
Oh, easy. Yeah. You're halfway. I mean, if you put on a show tonight, you could be there. But that Somerville defense is salty. This is the first meeting between them, so we have no prior history together.
Wait, first meeting
ever between these 2 schools.
So is Chapin that old of a school? I mean, still new to the area, but I kind of figured Chapin's been around for a while. And Somerville also been around for a while.
Well, Somerville's also always been the highest classification.
Chapin was a little lower.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So
From what I understand, they were a little lower.
But still, who wants to go play Somerville?
Never a non-region game or anything like that. That's fascinating to me.
By the way, the second leading receiver for the Chapin Eagles is a young man named Stone Furry. I don't know if you know about him. I don't know if you know his father.
Yeah, outside the great name, I think his dad might have something to do with this Gamecocks bunch that we talk about a lot on these airwaves.
So I've heard. And then the game of the night for us is not UCLA and LSU that they're trying to pump down my throat on ESPN.
That's going to be an ass kicking,
it's
man.
So bad.
Let's be honest with ourselves. LSU is going to dog walk them for 4 quarters. UCLA is bad.
The SEC schedule this week leaves lots to be desired. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Richland Northeast is at Camden. Will Wilson is bringing that offense of the Cavaliers up to historic Zemp Stadium. The series is tied at 5 wins apiece. It's the first meeting since 2019. None of these kids were in high school the last time these 2 teams played.
Nope, or shouldn't be.
And it's let me rephrase that. Shouldn't have been in high school. And if you were in high school, you probably shouldn't be focusing on the athletics part of being a student athlete at this point.
Correct.
It is an opener for region play for both teams. And it is a ranked v. ranked matchup. Camden is 4, R&E is 6th.
Top 6 matchup. This is you're not getting a top 6 matchup in college football this weekend.
Aren't you getting one all year? Richland, well, you are next week. Georgia, Alabama. You are looking at a Richland Northeast team that is 4-0 for the first time since 2010.
We were both in high school then, too.
That was South Carolina's first national championship in baseball. Whit Merrifield, who is no longer playing second base for the Braves because Ozzie Albies is back, thank the Lord. No offense to Whit. I just need an all-star back.
Ozzie Albies, is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so, but Whit Merrifield had some kind of hit for the Gamecocks that year. 2010. Think about how long ago that was. 14 years. There were kids who were not born at that point, who are now in high school, possibly at R&E, rooting on the Cavaliers up in Camden tonight. But
that makes me feel old.
Big bad Camden.
To think about.
Will Wilson committed to the Wolfpack of NC State. They play at Clemson tomorrow.
And they're going to get killed by Clemson.
No, I disagree on that. 1,152 yards, 479 yards rushing, 21 total touchdowns this year in 4 games. It's decent. R&E is averaging 41 points a game. Camden started out 0-1 after a loss to White Knoll, but they've stormed back. They've won 3 in a row. Tanner Bracey, you want to know how to offset an R&E offense? You put pressure on the quarterback. Tanner Bracey leads Camden. 4.5 sacks, 5 quarterback hurries. Himself.
Impactful.
One person. Wyatt Thompson, quarterback for Camden, had 381 yards of total offense last week, including school record, 195 yards on the ground, and 4 total touchdowns against a very, 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 very talented Ridgeview squad. Those are just a couple of the games we're looking at. Blythewood and Westwood are going at it tonight. Should be a good one in the Battle of the Woods there. Hilton Head Christian is at Hammond. I mean, Hilton Head Christian's 3-1, y'all.
Can they challenge Hammond? That's my only question. I don't think they're going to win because no one beats Hammond. I get that. That's a fact of life. Can they challenge Hammond?
Well, it's the first meeting since 2013, and Hammond has won 7 straight championships. Hilton Head Christian Academy has won 3 in a row. And here's your test for your Hammond Skyhawk defense. Reed McCullum has accounted for 1,597 yards and 15 touchdowns this season. 4 games. It's hard to do against air.
What is that number going to look like by the time we even get to late October?
Well, Hammond quarterback Andrew Turner has 1,100 yards of offense and 17 total touchdowns. So are we talking about offense?
I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad for this scoreboard operator tonight.
We can talk about offense if you want.
I'm always down to talk about offense, baby.
There are
offense go burr.
That's just the grabby games at this point. Newberry and Fairfield Central playing tonight should be a good one. Porter Gowd and Bishop England should be a good one.
Bishop England's still in that club, baby. They're still ITC.
Columbia is at Wagner Sally. I like a little Liberty against Walhalla up at Walhalla. Should be a good one. Clennon is at Daniel. Dorman 2-1, is at Riverside, a very surprising 3-0.
Does Riverside get ejected from the undefeated club tonight? This is a big opportunity for Dorman, who underachieved last year.
True.
And had an absolute tail kicking out of state early in the season.
Yes, they did.
I think this might be a good night to gauge Dorman.
I think so.
To figure out exactly where they're at. Like the team they played out of state is above the weight class, right? Mm-hmm. I think tonight could be an interesting night to see exactly if Dorman is even close to the standard that Dorman has set in really all sports over the last few years.
J.L. Mann is at Easley. Again, these are some good upstate games. East Side is at Spartanburg. BHP is at Palmetto. That's one to keep your eye on. Sumter 4-0. They go to Spring Valley 0-4. Tough one there. Gilbert opening region play against North Augusta at home in Gilbert, America. Woodmont goes to Greenville, and Greenville is 0-3. Can they get off the schneid against Woodmont? Mazio Bennett ain't walking through that door.
No, they've really struggled, man. They've struggled a lot this year, surprisingly, because it's a good program. Right. And one man doesn't make a program, and no team that loses Mazio Bennett is going to be better the next year. Right. They lost a lot along with Mazio. It's a down year. High school football is very cyclical, but I'm surprised to see it look like it has.
Dramatic. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Roger and Willie will be disappointed to know that Kale bats leadoff for us on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Kale, where are you tonight, my friend?
Well, unfortunately, tonight we're not anywhere because I'm sick, but I did want to call in and tell you a game to look at to pay attention to.
Which one is that one?
We love this.
And is this NCAA 25?
No, this is not NCAA 25.
Love that.
It was the game I was supposed to be going to until I went to the doctor today. But keep an eye on Westside versus Prince Avenue from Athens, Georgia. I did my research on the game before I found out I couldn't go. There are at least 6 college football recruits playing in this game. For Prince Avenue, they've got 2027 4-star running back, number 5, Andrew Beard, who already holds offers from Georgia, Alabama, Penn State, and Georgia Tech, and a few others. They got a linebacker, number 33, Max Bradley, who's committed to Air Force as a senior. They have a junior wide receiver, C.J. Dockery, number 4, who currently holds an offer from Liberty. And then the big guy on Prince Avenue that has national attention, his name is Christian Garrett. He's a 4-star defensive lineman committed to Georgia Tech. He is the number 6 defensive lineman in the country, according to On3. And for Westside, we all know about Cutter Woods, who's committed to South Carolina at quarterback. And then they've got a cornerback, number 2, in Sherrod Richardson, who's got offers from Mercer, Charleston Southern, Chattanooga, and a couple other D2 schools.
You know what I'm hearing? Thank you, Kale. We appreciate it. We'll keep an eye on that one, of course.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. Despite being sick, he has a little bit of an illness. We talked earlier this morning. He's got a little bit of an illness, but he said he would call in, and nothing's going to stop him. He is addicted to the grind. I respect that, young man. I respect that.
That's a good thing. And West Side, again, there's the Gamecock interest in Cutter Woods.
Yeah.
I will note, as we hit our first break of the evening, a name I heard a lot there, recruit-wise? Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
What's Brent Key doing down there in Atlanta?
He's trying to get them to run the damn ball.
Well, they're on their way to halfway to bowl eligibility already. More of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird behind the glass, master control, keeping this thing on the tracks, making sure we sound decent and we got everything under control.
Sounding decent is definitely the bar that we're setting for ourselves.
Decent is the bar. If you can clear decent, then you're gonna have a good day. A lot to get to. We talked about some top games that we're keeping our eye on early on, and again, games are about 11 minutes or so. We've got a lot to get to before kickoffs get started, including math. That's right. I've got to talk about it.
I didn't sign up for any math. I was told there was no math.
I was told there would be no math. This from Lou Bezjak from the State newspaper, Uncle Lou, as he is affectionately known. Looking forward to hear from Lou, who is covering Camden and R&E tonight. I've already seen that on the Twitters. The first high school football Max Preps RPI rankings for South Carolina were released on Tuesday afternoon. These rankings will be updated after games are played on Thursday and Friday nights. It's the first year rankings will be used in South Carolina, and only for Class 5A and Class 4A. Now, a different formula will now be used to seed teams in the playoffs for all sports. The RPI is based 50% on your winning percentage, 40% on your opponent's winning percentage, and 10% on your opponent's winning percentage. Margin of victory is not used.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I think that probably should be.
The one thing that would matter,
context and nuance.
The one thing that matters, and I'm not hating on RPI. Listen, I wish we would go back to the RPI instead of the net. Listen, when it comes to the college football playoff, while I think it should just be two teams playing one game, I am more inclined, if we're going to do this, to just let the computers decide who the 12 teams are. But still, this is weird. Region champs, using the RPI rankings, region champions will be seeded first in the playoffs, followed by the second, third, and fourth place finishers. All non-automatic qualifiers would make up the rest of the bracket based on RPI rankings. For the Class 4A playoffs, there will be 16 teams in upper state, 16 teams in lower state, as there always have been. And as an example, the 4 region champions in upper and lower state will be seeded 1 through 4, and then the same goes for the second place teams. They'll be ranked against the other second place teams, 1 through 4, blah, 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 all the way through. With the use of RPI, here's what's big. With the use of RPI, there will be no predetermined home and away teams in 4 and 5A brackets, which is good because there were moments in the years past where some interesting home teams were had in the playoffs. The highest remaining seed in every game will host, as it should be.
I like that.
Because of the seeding criteria, Lou notes, region teams could face each other in the first round of the postseason, which could be big, depending. Here are the initial RPI rankings. These are rankings, not ratings. Top 25 and 5A. By the way, I will denote to you which ones are Division I and which ones are Division II in 5A, because that's a thing now.
We still need that clarification. Yes.
Dutch Fork is the number 1 team with a .8138.
Okay.
Northwestern is 2. Northwestern is 2 with a .79063.
Tracks.
Okay. Now I'm done giving you the digits. Sumter, Chapin, Somerville, Gaffney, Hillcrest, Spartanburg, White Knoll, Blythewood, your top 10. Looks a little different than your media rankings. Dorman,
smidge.
T.L. Hanna, River Bluff, J.L. Man, Irmo is 15. Lexington is 16, followed by Eastside, Clover, Woodmont, Boiling Springs. Ridgeview, Indian Land, West Florence, Lugolf, Elgin, and Riverside round out the top 25 in 5A. By the way, Division I there is Dutch Fork, Sumter, Somerville, Spartanburg, Blythewood, Dorman, River Bluff, J.L. Man, Lexington, Clover, Boiling Springs, and Ridgeview. The other ones are the not. I'm going to deal with the Division I, Division II thing whenever we get to the playoffs. Right now, it's just confusing.
It's so confusing. Yeah.
There's
other ways we could have done that. There's so many other ways we could have figured that out as opposed to the system that was agreed upon.
In Class 4A, so in Class 5A, there is about a .02 difference? Yeah, .02 difference between the first and second place team.
Wow.
Dutch Fork and Northwestern. That's quick math. In 4A, West Side is first at 3-0. They have a .81111111. Followed by Seneca. Followed by Seneca at number 2.
Still undefeated.
With a .73333333. So you're looking at a 0.1, almost a full tenth of a percentage point between 1 and 2. We're done with the decimals now. South Florence is 3, followed by R&E at 4.
South Florence being ahead of R&E is interesting considering the start South Florence had.
Well, it's all about your opponent, hold on, your winning percentage, your opponent's winning percentage, and your opponent's winning percentage, because you should totally be able to handle who they put on the schedule in non-region play. Camden is 5, followed by North Augusta, Gray Collegiate, AC Flora, South Aiken, Bishop England, top 10. Fountain Inn, May River, Crestwood, Wren, Drea, top 15. Daniel, Lower Richland, Emerald, South Point, Gilbert checking in at 20. Hartsville, Lakewood, Pickens, Bluffton, and Berea coming in at number 25. There is about a 0.4 decimal point percentage difference between 1 and 25 there. In 5A, it is less than a 0.3. So take that for what it's worth. There's your RPI. We'll dig into that more as we need to.
That's interesting.
Closer to the playoffs.
I feel like this is more math and science experiment than it is handling a high school football season, but it could work. It could. I mean, I'm all for trying a lot of stuff. I think the high school sports league has dropped the ball
right
on a lot of things in the last couple of years, but I'm all for experimenting a little bit. And if it makes the product better, if it doesn't cause any logistical issues, which in high school really should be almost a priority.
Sure.
Meritocracy and convenience, I feel like should rule high school sports instead of bottom line. But I think this is something that could work. It could create some intrigue. I'm very curious as to what the coaches feel about it, though, in terms of the methodology used to come up with this specific metric.
I think they're saying at this point it just should be about just win games and don't let it affect you.
Yeah.
At that point, I mean, because that's just a lot of math, and coaches aren't going to care. What's my record?
Not all of them are math teachers.
What's my record? True.
Some are.
I'm doing over under.
Not all of them, though.
Not all of them.
What percentage do you think
US
of these
history.
high school coaches? Yeah, the U.S. history,
Gym,
economics.
Yes.
Which high school econ is a participation trophy. At least if
personal finance class.
If the state of South Carolina is anything like the state of Tennessee, your econ class in high school was basically an attendance grade.
By the way, we're watching all of these games that are kicking off in 4 minutes across the Palmetto State. Some have already started. We'll get to those in a minute. By the way, if you're looking for Friday night football college version while you listen to us, Syracuse is playing tonight against Stanford.
Classic conference opponent.
If you were to come to me in 2002 and tell me that Syracuse and Stanford would be playing a conference game on a Friday night in September, and then tell me that it's the ACC,
you would throw up. On the spot.
Well, yes.
That's the only visceral reaction you could have.
I would call you a liar.
Yes.
But the better game tonight, I cannot believe I'm saying the better game. The better game tonight is at 8 o'clock, top 25 matchup between Illinois and Nebraska.
There's some intrigue there.
If Nebraska wins that game, watch out. They could be undefeated going against Ohio State in a couple weeks.
Oh, and that's good for the sport. Honest to God, that's great for the sport.
All for them to score 3 points against Ohio State.
And get it kicked. But I will say,
but
Nebraska being good is great. Yeah. It's good for the sport.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for that.
Yeah, everyone deserves the Cornhuskers to be good. And rooting for that offense. Rooting for Dylan Raiola
to want to be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes you can tell when someone's trying too hard.
Yes. The Cornhuskers are number 20. The Cornhuskers are number 22 in the country. Riverside and Dorman kicking off now. Oh, that's good. That's good work there on Twitter. If you can see the picture here from
yes.
that is holding the microphone for the PA system to the referee's mouth to make sure that everyone hears the coin toss. Riverside in the black unis tonight.
Some slick unis.
And Dorman with some new look there. Used to be the sword, but now it's just the word Dorman written on there. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's a good uniform game. I'm okay with it. Good uniform game there.
Love a good uniform game.
So we got a lot of games that are kicking off right now. And by the way, as many of you know throughout the years, at this time of year, I'm normally also keeping one eye on the Atlanta Braves. Don't worry, you're not getting score updates from them anymore, folks, because it's over. It's over.
Declaring them dead.
They're not making the playoffs. They're not. No.
Declaring them dead already.
No, it's done.
You got a 3-game set or whatever with the Marlins. That's a AAA team.
Yeah, well,
they're not dead yet.
Got to score runs, and you got to have the Mets lose at some point.
They can,
or the D-backs, or the Padres. But here's the thing: the Padres are challenging for the West.
Yeah, they actually might win that division.
They actually might win the division. So you're
something I did not think would be remotely close to a possibility at a certain part of the year.
And you know what? I would rather have the Marlins beat out the Braves for that wild card spot. ABM. Anybody but the Mets. That's just...
Sorry, Grimace.
It's just not...
This is a Hamburglar household.
I'm not a big fan. Like, that's the rival for me. Blythewood and Westwood, by the way, kicked off earlier. They are already at the end of the first half.
Ooh, a halftime score. Oh, let's get the notepad out.
And it's 0-0.
Oh.
Blythewood and Westwood scoreless at the end of the first half. 69-yard touchdown pass from Carrington Carter to Cam Cunningham was negated by a penalty at the 128 mark of the second quarter. Do you know what that penalty was, sir?
Oh.
Ineligible man downfield.
Sound familiar, Gamecock fans?
Is this a point of emphasis for people? Is this what we're doing?
It has been, actually. I will say.
Well,
at SEC Media Days, I did learn that one of the point of emphasis this year was blocking downfield on RPOs.
We'll get into a lot of these things and a lot of football talk on the other side. More of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on The Game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Justin Hall, Ed Bird, Elijah Campbell. I like to switch it up every now and again. We are in
That's
week...
That's right. Mix it up.
What week number is this? Is this week 5?
This is.
But technically week 4?
It's the fifth.
It's the 5th show we've done.
Yes.
But
which means it's flying by.
Which means that there are teams that we're about to talk about who are 4-0, some are 3-0, but either way, there's a 0 in the loss column.
And that's the most important thing. And that is why we have my man Ed Bird standing by to allow teams into the 4th or 5th level, 3rd or 4th actually, 3rd or 4th level into this prestigious club that we have built inside this building at the 1301 Gervais Street that no one's been able to access. You can only access it if you are undefeated in high school football. Ed Bird, hit him. Yes, sir. This is the undefeated club.
You didn't even have to cue him.
Didn't even have to. He already knew. Ed Bird's standing there with the leather jacket on. He's checking IDs, and by IDs, I mean records, baby. And he's looking for that 0 in the loss column. And all these teams, I'm telling you right here, have zeros in that loss column. I'll tell you who they play tonight. We're going to start in 5A, baby. Hillcrest. They're taking on the Fighting Kevin Garnett's at Malden. Hosting them at home. They're 0-3, Malden is. This should be a win for Hillcrest. I expect Hillcrest to stay in this after tonight. Boiling Springs. They got a big one. This is one of the big games of the entire week in the entire state of South Carolina. They're playing fellow undefeated club member Gaffney. Both schools 3-0. This game is going to be at Boiling Springs tonight. So needless to say, Gaffney also in the club, but Boiling Springs and Gaffney, 2 teams enter. 1 team gets to stay before Ed Bird gets to forcefully remove them from the facility. Eastside, they're still undefeated. They're at 2-1 Spartanburg tonight. That's a tough game for them.
Yes, it is.
If Eastside can survive Spartanburg, then they will have a very well-earned spot in this club next week. Riverside's taking on Dorman tonight. 2-1 Dorman. We talked about that earlier. Indian Land at 1-3 Rock Hill. Northwestern, number 2 in the 5A RPI. They're taking on 1-3 Nation Ford at home. I expect that one to be, I don't know, maybe a running clock. At a certain point. Northwestern, they've reached wagon status, baby. Chapin, also another undefeated club versus undefeated club matchup here. They're going to be at the Fighting Preston Thorns of Somerville. We talked about that game in the last segment earlier. Both teams 3-0. Irmo at home tonight versus 1-2 Myrtle Beach, a rematch of last year's playoff game. Dutch Fork takes on 2-2 Oceanside Collegiate. As good as Oceanside is, as good as they always are, I have a hard time seeing them knocking off Dutch Fork.
Yeah.
Speaking of teams that are wagon status, goodness gracious. Now to River Bluff, they're taking on 2-2 Sherraw tonight at home. A really good chance that River Bluff can be 5 weeks into the season and staying in the undefeated club. Shout out to them after the year they had last year. They had a tough season last year. And for them to be in this club right now, impressive on their part. Blythewood will be at 2-2 Westwood tonight. Blythewood's still in the undefeated club. They're at half right now, knotted up at 0. Westwood giving them everything they can handle. Blythewood fighting for their lives. The Bengals trying their best to stay in the club, and they hope they don't see Ed Bird tonight at all. Sumter at 0-4 Spring Valley. I have a good feeling we're seeing Sumter in this club next week. And then, of course, Somerville earlier mentioned they're hosting 3-0 Chapin. So that makes for 14 undefeated 5A teams. We go to 4A, where there's only 5 left in this club, starting with Westside. Our man Cale Wilson called in earlier to talk up this game. They're hosting a good Prince Avenue Christian team with a lot of potential college football talent, but that Prince Avenue Christian team is 2-2. They schedule really well, and that's why they're playing against a Westside team tonight, who also really good, the 4A state champion favorites. Seneca is at 1-2 Travelers Rest. Richland Northeastern, our personal game of the week, they're at 3-1 Camden. Will Wilson, he's the real deal. Can he keep them in the undefeated club? And more importantly, beat the biggest challenger they might have in that region. Bishop England is still undefeated. They're taking on 4-1 Porter Gowd tonight. Bishop England might be on club ejection alert because Porter Gowd had nothing to play with, baby. May River, they're at 2-2 Georgetown. We'll go to 3A where there are 7 teams left. Woodruff at 2-2 Chesney. Mountain View Prep at 3-0 Asheville School, a.k.a. the Fighting Jay Phillipses. The alma mater of one Jay Phillips.
There you go.
I did not think we would have a mention of a Fighting Jay Phillips on this show.
That would scare the Jesus out of me.
But here we are.
A Fighting Jay Phillips.
The Fighting Jay Phillipses of the Asheville School playing, or hosting rather, Mountain View Prep. Still undefeated in 3A. Swansea tonight versus 3-1 Barnwell. Huge game for the Tigers to continue their magical season. Loris is on a bye, so they will not only be in the undefeated club tonight, they'll be featured in the undefeated club next week. So they're already in the next level of the club. Ed Bird just unhooked the little fancy red velvet rope thing to let them on through. They're on through. Everyone else has to stay until you get a win. Marlboro County, they're at 0-4 North Myrtle Beach. Boy, wouldn't it be something to get ejected from the club by way of a winless team this late into the season. Dillon at Hartsville. Hartsville is what I like to call the buffet. They tried a little bit of everything. They have 1 win, 1 loss, 1 tie. The Hartsville buffet. Orangeburg-Wilkinson, the last 3A undefeated team, they're hosting 2-2 Keenan tonight. Don't let the 2-2 record fool you. Keenan has played really well this year. Ask Blythewood how tough they've been to play at certain points of the year. In 2A, Saluda is at 1-2 Southside Christian. Batesburg-Leesville, one of the more pleasant surprises in this undefeated club at this point of the season, they're hosting 0-4 Calhoun County, and I thoroughly expect to see them in the next level of the undefeated club. Chesterfield, the Rams at 2-1 McBee. They'll be in a dogfight tonight. Hampton County's at 3-1 Hilton Head Island, and Mullins is hosting 0-3 Atlantic Collegiate Academy. I could see Mullins in this thing next week. That makes 5 2A schools. In 1A, there are only 2 left. That would be Dixie at 2-3 Anderson, and Branchville hosting 1-3 Scotts Branch. I have a really good feeling next week at this time we'll be talking about the same 2 1A teams remaining, ITC, if you will. Now to Skeeza 4A. There are only 2 left. Hammond, I think we could all expect Hammond to be in this bad boy for a hot minute, but they're hosting 3-1 Hilton Head Christian Academy tonight. That's a team with a good record. Can they challenge Hammond? I don't know, but I've got a good feeling Hammond's in the club this point next week. Northwood Academy, the other school in Skeeza 4A, they're taking on Ben Lippen on the road. Ben Lippen's 2-2 on the season, but a big opportunity for Ben Lippen tonight to eject a team, to team up with Ed Bird to get Northwood Academy out of there. Skeeza 3A, Wilson Hall, the only team. This is an island right now, and it's Wilson Hall Island. They're hosting 0-3 Camden Military tonight. I think they might have some more real estate on that island after tonight. I feel like that should be a win for them. Skeeza 2A, PD Academy, after knocking off an undefeated team last week, will take on 1-4 St. John's Christian Academy on the road this week. And Skeeza 1A, Dorchester Academy, the only undefeated team, but it's not going to be easy sailing tonight. They take on 4-1 Beaufort Academy at home tonight. That should be an interesting game to keep an eye on. There are only 2 teams in the Skeeza 8-man Region 1 undefeated club, but here's the irony, Justin Hall. They're playing each other tonight. That's right. Richard Wynn Academy will be at 4-0 Wardlaw Academy. Wardlaw Academy will be hosting 4-0 Richard Wynn Academy. 2 teams enter, one get to stay, and the other one gets a very untimely visit from one, Ed Bird, who's basically the Grim Reaper of this entire club. Skeeza 8-man Region 2. We have Cathedral Academy versus 2-2 Kings Academy tonight, and Holly Hill Academy at 4-1 Jefferson Davis Academy. So we'll see if Holly Hill gets to stay in the club tonight. That's a really tough test. All in all, there are 42 members of the South Carolina undefeated club. That's all we have left. We were triple digits just 2 weeks ago.
We were.
We are cutting this bad boy down. And those are the only teams that we just mentioned right there that are still without a loss in the state of South Carolina at all levels.
Doesn't take long at all, folks.
Nope.
By the way, our game that we're watching, Malachi Farmer, touchdown catch. R&E halfway, not halfway. They don't play 15-minute quarters, you doof. 4 minutes into the first quarter, and R&E leads 7-0 over Camden. And got a note from our buddy Mark on the artist formerly known as Twitter. We made it. We made Chapin. We made it somehow. It's a madhouse here. Big 5A matchup of undefeated teams.
Oh, I love a game described as a madhouse.
Chapin.
I love the sound
Somerville,
of that.
number 4 RPI team taking on the number 5 RPI team. That's how people are labeling it now. Look at that. That's his tweet.
Yep, that is. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, my gosh.
I kind of dig it.
That's how we're talking about things now. I guess it's a new era.
I think I'm talking myself into liking the RPI. By the way,
I think so. I think so. A uniform thing that doesn't involve everything about the media, right? Because at some point, we just can't have that.
We're a little too self-aggrandized in this business.
Northwestern 15-7 lead over Nation Ford. Nation Ford was leading that game 7-0. And in a game where I checked the rule book, someone has to win. Someone has to win between Airport and Aiken, starting region play tonight. Airport's up 6-0.
Aha!
We ride for now. We'll see. That team, listen, I had someone just hit me on Twitter asking about, what's going on there. Youth and inexperience at key positions. That defense is really good. Coach Shane Fiddler's got a good defense over there at Airport. The problem is you got to get the offense going.
Got to score points to win.
Defense and region play will come in handy. You can turn some things around and get things going. Tough start, but again, you challenged yourself. By the way, their game against May River's number 12 in RPI.
May River's having a great season.
OW, who they already played as well, they're ranked in 3A. They're a top 10 team, according to the media.
Two teams that were in the undefeated club. They're still partying.
What do you want me to do? And then Westwood ran away from them last week, unfortunately, and that game just got out of hand. Youth and experience just got to get better as the weeks go on. That's where you are right now. That's where a lot of teams are, actually.
That type of stuff matters, man.
It just takes time, and no one wants to talk about it. Woodruff leads Chesney 7-0 as we're getting hit with some scores here. Greenville and Woodmont tied at 7. Just 2.5 minutes into the ball game. And Irmo is up 3-0 in their ball game. They kick a field goal in the first quarter. They
Settling for a field goal. That's a win for Myrtle Beach.
Settling for a field goal.
That's a win defensively for Myrtle Beach.
Trayvon Wright with a touchdown for Camden. It's 7-7.
Ooh, I'm telling you, we are in for an absolute treat.
8 minutes to go in that ball game. Syracuse and Stanford's kicked off. We're 15 minutes away from Nebraska and Illinois. Plenty of action across the Palmetto State that we'll keep you updated with. We'll come back. Final segment of hour number 1 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird behind the glass piloting this ship. Got a score update for you from that number 4 versus number 5 RPI ranking. From now on, if you hear me say rankings, they're RPI because I'm starting to talk myself into it. Both teams swapped punts on their first drive, and then Somerville goes 99 yards in 11 plays, including a 21-yard rushing touchdown. Somerville,
9 yards
7-0.
a pop. Goodness gracious.
7-0 Somerville over Chapin. That game just getting underway. How about this one? Will Wilson, quarterback keeper, and it wasn't from the 1-yard line. I'm looking at the film. That was a run. I want the numbers on that. Here's looking at you, Lou. 6:10 left to go in the first quarter. R&E leads Camden 13-7. Extra point attempt. No good.
No good. Ooh. That could loom large in a game like this.
Boiling Springs has a touchdown, by the way.
Oh.
I'm gonna give you the score, 7-0 over Gaffney. 8:35 to go in the first quarter. But that actually, the music necessary here, because I want to use that music not only for Scoreboard but for All Name Club, because I have a new entrant.
Oh yes,
I have a new entrant to the All Name Club, and it's quarterback for Boiling Springs, Lincoln Husky. Lincoln Husky.
Yes,
because
I would trust Lincoln Husky with a drive with less than 3 minutes to go in the game to win it for me.
Do you remember as a kid when you would? Maybe it's just me. I'm going to out myself here. You would go to the store. You'd go to Walmart or Sears or Kmart, and you'd go and
what's a Kmart?
You would go to get pants, right? You need new jeans for school. It's August the 4th. It's 100 degrees. Yeah, I'm going to need jeans right now. But you would go, and sometimes you just you couldn't wear the regular cut jeans. You had to get the jeans that were, had a little extra poundage on you. You know what those were called?
Huskies.
10 Huskies. And so Lincoln Husky, quarterback for Boiling Springs, 7-0 lead over Gaffney. I just you know what? I'm cool with the name. I think it
takes you back a little bit.
Oh my. Thank you, Ed. R&E, by the way, after that touchdown, 13-7. They go for the onside kick.
A surprise onside
and they get it.
The ghost of Sean Payton. He's not dead. He's just not coaching my beloved New Orleans Saints anymore, but it lives.
There was a 64-yard keeper from Will Wilson to score, and a spin move on the line of scrimmage, and then he breaks in the open space. Wow, that's a little Norris Sellers-esque. See what I did there?
Yeah.
13-7 R&E, and 3 plays of offense. And Batesburg-Leesville's up 14-0. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Batesburg-Leesville, man, that's another fun story that has been brewing for these first few weeks of the season. Undefeated club already. That's a program that's been building for something, but also has a rich history.
Right.
Trying to get back to some type of resemblance of that rich history. And Amandre Wooden, man, one of the best players in the state. That kid is electric on the ground.
Camden did not score an offensive touchdown. It was a kick return for touchdown. So Camden has not touched the ball offensively yet.
Oh.
If that jives.
What
right?
a very odd way to start.
Unless they went 3 and out or a quick drive on their first possession, right? And didn't score. But just in my head, they haven't touched the ball offensively. By the way, sources, this is not high school, but this is breaking 6 minutes ago. According to sources close to Pete Thamel, so who knows who those are, Tennessee starting left tackle Lance Hurd will be out tomorrow night.
Ooh.
It's the second straight game he'll miss, and guess what? This is a step up from where he played last week. Dane Davis will get the start in his place. His eighth career start at left tackle.
Dane Davis.
Against a Brent Venables coach defense.
Dane Davis, relatively high recruit coming out of high school, but that's a tall task, man. They brought in Lance Hurd for games like this.
Right.
He's the LSU transfer. Lance Hurd has played way more than 8 games at tackle in his career.
Yes, he has. By the way, Airport 13-0 over Aiken. 2:13 to go in the first quarter.
Working their way to that elusive first win.
If you're on the road against an Oklahoma team that is coached by Brent Venables, probably not best to have a backup left tackle.
Nope.
Trying to protect the blind side of one, Nico Iamaliava.
Nailed it.
Bang.
Nailed it.
I never had trouble with DJ Uiagalelei. He has trouble throwing the ball. I don't have trouble pronouncing his name.
He has a lot of issues throwing the ball.
Apparently a back-and-forth ball game. RNE couldn't come up with anything after recovering the onside kick, but not to fear. Camden fumbles. RNE recovers.
This game is already having the makings of an absolute wacky fest.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is going to be really wacky. And, I mean, look, Camden didn't touch the ball until the game was already 13-7. And then they fumble it, and now RNE's got the ball back after Camden finally exhausted all resources to get a stop. Will Wilson, real deal.
A real deal, and you fumble the football. If you're gonna stay in this game against the Cavs and
don't give that guy the ball more.
You can't give him the ball more.
Don't.
You cannot waste possessions.
That's a tough L from Camden there.
It really is. Battery Creek and Beaufort scoreless 0-0 at the end of one down there that's the Low Country. Beaufort's still the Low Country, I guess.
That counts, right? Yeah, I would say so.
I guess. By the way, your guy, Ellie De La Cruz, has 100 steals in his first 2 Major League Baseball seasons.
I love that guy so much. It's a damn shame they wasted a year of his rookie contract this year and are as bad as they were.
This is the kind of stat, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, these kind of baseball stats that pop up are ones that Tommy would have enjoyed. Ellie De La Cruz is the 3rd player in the modern era with 100 steals in his first 2 MLB seasons. He joins the other 2, Vince Coleman, and
stole a lot of bases.
Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, that will count as elite company.
It will. I think that works. End of the first quarter, Skeeza action, Cardinal Newman up on Heathwood Hall, 7-0.
Poor Heathwood Hall, man. That's a team that has taken some absolute break beatings this year. They have taken some just clubbings.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Gray Collegiate up 13-7 on Midland Valley. First region game. First region game for Gray in quite a while, folks.
I mean, in at least 2 years.
Yeah, give or take. I mean, and that'll be the only time I talk about it. Newberry up 7-0 on Fairfield Central. That's the TV game here in the Midlands area, so enjoy that one if you'd like. An update from Riverside and Dorman. Thank you to Robbie for this one. Riverside 6, Dorman nothing. End of the first quarter. Riverside trying to get to 4-0. They had a bye week last week before Dorman came to town. End of first quarter.
Trying to stay in that club.
End of the first quarter at T.L. Hanna. Is T.O. Hanna not ranked anymore? Wow, they aren't. They're receiving votes.
Some struggles. Yeah,
Greenwood leads at T.O. Hanna 7-0.
Okay, great.
And Greenwood. I remember Greenwood got the win last week over Lexington. Big win, or a couple weeks ago, over Lexington. Big win for Greenwood in that one.
Yeah, Lexington, a team that seemingly only plays really close games.
They only do.
That's all they do. They only play thrillers.
Only. Thrillers only. That's all we can do. So
Thrillersonly.com.
I'm not vouching for that.
You don't have to be lonely.
Arnie is going for it on 4th and 11 on the 21, according to Lou, who's at the game. Irmo has scored a touchdown, not just a field goal. So they're up 10-0 on Myrtle Beach. So there's a lot of action going on. Hour number 2 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game. Welcome back in to Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. On the game, Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird at Master Control. Hour number 2 kicking off. I've got Larry the Cable Guy on the screen up above my head.
I did not think that was a sentence that was going to be said tonight at all. If you have a Love Chevy High School Football Scoreboard Show bingo card and you can prove that you had Larry the Cable Guy being on one of the televisions here, I would call you a liar in that your card is made up. It is ripped off.
Oh, yeah. No question.
That's not a sanctioned.
Yeah, not a sanctioned one at all. Stanford up on Syracuse 7-0. Nebraska getting ready to kick it off against Illinois. Just what we all thought, folks. Brett Bielema against Matt Rule, who doesn't appear to even be leading his team out on the field. It's someone else as of right now, so should be a good game. They will keep track of those games. I'm not keeping track of the Braves being down 3-0 to the Marlins.
Ooh.
Instead, we're talking about high school football.
Yikes.
Because it's the start of region play.
Yikes.
Yep. I told you. Everyone rags on Jay and I as if we're doomers. And I mean, no, you don't understand. We watch this team every day. Like, we know when it's done.
I don't think it's you're getting ragged on because you're doomers. I think you just have champagne problems compared to the rest of Major League Baseball.
The Braves have one World Series, literally, that I can remember in my lifetime. One. I'm 30 in 2 months.
You've been in how many playoffs?
A World Series.
How many playoffs?
Yeah. I'm not getting into this.
The Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds, Colorado Rockies.
I had to wait until literally the 2021 playoffs to actually see my team win a darn playoff series.
San Diego Padres.
Weren't the Padres in the NLCS like 2 years ago?
Yeah, for the first time since...
Hey. It's hard. We all get it.
You grew up in an era, trust me, me and you, we are of the same age. We're the same era of 14 straight division championships.
Yes.
I would give an appendage to see my team win a division championship. I would give a body part.
A World Series in that stretch.
I would give a body part to see the Cincinnati Reds win a World Series. A body part.
Oh wait, listen. This is a sports take.
Probably a toe.
This is a sports take for you.
Of some sort.
You have to, how do I put this nicely? Celebrate the heck out of everything that your team does.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Everything.
Because if you would have told me at the end of 2013, specifically after that catch by Marquez North, that South Carolina would not sniff Atlanta for the next 11 years, I would have kind of believed you that day because I proclaimed that. But then it makes you remember what you saw from 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Same with the Braves in the postseason. You know, that 2021 playoff run, as magical as it was, they won 88 games that regular season, by the way.
Yep.
They were under 500 until August.
Squeaked in
and went on a run. Then they had to change the whole darn thing. And wild card and buys and all this other stuff. Just ridiculous, man.
That's the only reason the Reds were able to make a playoff run since I was in high school. Was because of the expanded playoff. Thank you, Rob Banford, for something.
Exactly. Let's go. Save me from this. Roger is on the Love Chevy phone lines. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, Greenwood Christian just scored again. Minutes in the second quarter, leading Auburn Prep 15-0.
15-0. Greenwood Christian over Orangeburg Prep. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Roger always checking in with us, and he'll be checking in throughout the evening. A lot of games are underway into the first quarter in Irmo. Irmo leads Myrtle Beach 10-0. That one early. This is coming from Mark on the artist formerly known as Twitter. I'm not calling out officials. Quote. Flagfest here in Somerville.
Quote.
3rd and 44.
Oh.
For Chapin. After they had it, 1st and goal.
Oh, no. Oh,
and
so you went from 1st and goal to 3rd and out of field goal range.
And at one point, Somerville had a 3rd and 29. There's a minute left to go in the first quarter down there in Somerville. Somerville leading the Chapin Eagles 7-0. Again, I'm not criticizing officiating. I'm just reading the reports that are given to me. I've spent plenty of time over the last how many ever hours are in this thing in a week. Talking about officiating, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. So,
yeah, I think we all have officiating fatigue here in this market.
Let's go to Chris, who's on the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Got a Hammond score from Chris. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Hammond's winning 7-0. And then as a guy that grew up in upstate Delaware and as a Phillies fan, should I be worried about this team? Just do you think they can have – y'all were just talking about it, Braves. The last 2 years, they ran the division, and then they ran into us, and we just stole it from them. And
yeah, you did.
They did.
You did. Thank you.
You should be. Yes, you should be. I will say. I'll answer that for you. You should be.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, for the call. We appreciate it.
Because that's exactly how this mess works.
Keep giving us score updates. And this is the whole point. This is the point I'm telling you. If you get one takeaway from tonight, besides high school football is really fun in South Carolina, and these guys might know a thing or two about something, it's this. Enjoy the moments. The Phillies are really good. And
I could feel your illness from across the studio.
Bile. But yeah, the Phillies are really good. Now, the Braves took care of them in the regular season this year, but that's beside the point. Point is, they're really good, but you don't know how many more times you got this. As a guy who watched Spencer Strider go down this year, and Ron Acuna, and Ozzie Albies, and everybody else in the roster, including the pitching coach.
Dropping like flies.
Enjoy every year that you can. Enjoy every moment that you can because it's a big deal. 10:57 to go in the second quarter. Greenwood leads TL Hanna 7-0. Landrum leads West Oak 13-0. 1 quarter in the books. Northwestern leads Nation Ford 29-7.
Ooh.
It was 7-0.
Nation Ford, and that did not last very long.
No,
leads against Northwestern don't last very long. If we get zero taught us anything, big leads against Northwestern are good for nothing until there are zeros on the clock.
Yeah, if you get them,
what we learned.
If you get the lead at all, just enjoy it.
Remember the story? I don't know. I can't remember exactly the year, but it was when Lee Corso was coaching Indiana, and they were playing, I believe, Ohio State or Florida State, and they were big underdogs, as Indiana often is in football. Sure. And they got the first possession of the game and kicked a field goal, got up 3-0. Lee Corso called a timeout to stop the game so someone could take a picture of the scoreboard. And then it was either Ohio State or Florida State. I can't remember who it is. This is an old College game day story from a long time ago. Went on to beat them like 59-3. That's almost kind of what it feels like with Northwestern right now.
Yeah,
you get a lead against Northwestern. If you're Nation Ford, you get the lead against Northwestern. You call a timeout.
Yeah.
Someone get the Nikon or the Canon, the Polaroid, the disposable camera, whatever it is, whatever anyone's got on hand, iPhone even, I don't care, and take a picture of that scoreboard. Because you know what?
If you had an iPhone then, oh boy.
Take a picture of that scoreboard because that memory is fleeting.
Right.
And so is that lead.
I mean, I've been there with some of my teams. Trust me.
So many of mine. Yeah, I feel that. Big underdog roles.
We're commiserating here tonight quite a bit, as we've found. Let's see here. Gosh, it's 36-7 Northwestern.
And the score changes again. Scoreboard operator should not take any rests.
An 82-yard touchdown return in this Blythewood game was called back after a vicious lead block, I'm quoting here on Twitter, was penalized as illegal. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty was then called after the play. So an 82-yard touchdown return is now 1st and 10 at your own 5.
Oh.
Again, not everything the officials call is wrong. I'm just going to leave that out there. Not everything the officials call is a bad call.
I'll leave this out there, too. Bad officiating is baked into the result of every single sporting event that has ever been played in the history of athletics.
Just watch Major League Baseball.
It's a balance, baby. It is a balance. It's a balance.
3 words. C.B. Buckner. It's just how it goes. Dutch Fork, second quarter, 28-0.
Oh, of course.
Over Oceanside Collegiate.
Of course.
It's just...
I'm telling you, if you didn't get them last year, you're never going to get them.
Bingo here. Earlier today, 1:30, I don't know if it came across this way, but I was wrestling with who I would pick to win between AC Florida and South Point because I didn't know that Ford was going to put me on the spot, but he did. And I had to pick a team.
Of course, you got to be on your toes.
I said,
those radio hits with Ford.
I said, fine. South Point will win this game. They're up 21-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Oh, you chose correctly.
I mean, I hope it turns into a really good game, but right now I'm just happy that I got it right. That's all I care about. I want all of the credit, none of the blame.
Well, that's how we do it in this.
Remember that. Woodmont leads Greenville 14-7. Greenville does have the ball at the Woodmont 17-yard line as they are driving. How about this one? Gaffney and Boiling Springs tied at 7. Thanks to a Gaffney touchdown from Javon Gilmore to Jamarcus Smith, 99 yards.
Big plays.
99 yards.
Big plays win games. Would that count as an explosive? I think so.
Yes, it would. I'm going to guess that was catch and run.
I don't think that traveled 99 yards in the air. If he is,
Russell?
Yeah, I would say if he is, then that young man's going to have his phone blown up.
Put him on scholarship if that's the case.
He will go play college football right now.
Yeah. Into the first quarter at Camden. It's 13-7 R&E. Camden had a touchdown pass called back for a procedure penalty, and then Camden was hit with an unsportsmanlike penalty as well. A lot of flags tonight, huh?
A whole lot of flags, yeah.
Caleb Pinkney, a pick 6 for River Bluff. River Bluff leads Sherrall 9-0. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. How about that one?
Hey, River Bluff can stay in the undefeated club. This is their last game before they play in that gauntlet of a region. They don't necessarily have the same type of draw Chapin has tonight. But, I mean, these are the last game they're playing before they get into region play in what I firmly believe is the best region in the entire state. So, River Bluff, take care of business tonight and enjoy it while you can, because the season is going to get significantly more difficult going into next week.
But River Bluff returns so many starters. I forget the number. It's an insane amount of returning production that the Gators return. So if you're looking to make waves in region play, the time to do that is now with as many returning starters as you do. And River Bluff has had a couple of good years here down the stretch of some playoff caliber football. Westwood opened the second half against Blythewood with an 8-play, 80-yard scoring drive. So they have a 7-0 lead over Blythewood, and wow, Illinois strikes fast.
Nebraska goes 3 and out. Illinois gets a touchdown pass on the first drive from Luke Altmaier, quarterback transfer from Ole Miss, who couldn't get on the field at Ole Miss.
I don't want to draw super comparisons, but like big game, your offense gets the field first and goes 3 and out, and then the other team scores immediately. Gosh, where do I know that from?
Oh,
is there a common denominator between Nebraska and who I'm thinking of? Who knows? Maybe.
Oh, and Stanford just had a score wiped off the scoreboard.
Of course they did, because that's what we do now.
Welcome to the ACC, chumps.
That's what we do now. 76-yard drive all on the ground. White Knoll leads 21-6. Wow. There's been one completed pass for both teams in that White Knoll contest.
Who are they playing tonight?
It's a great question. I got to find out. I didn't have them listed on my scoreboard earlier, so let me do a little Command F, because that's the easy way to do it. Cane Bay. White Knoll is hosting Cane Bay.
I should win that one
tonight. They should. They're struggling right now early. Well, I say struggling. They're not throwing the ball. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines. 803. Might not need to. 803-404-6100. Roger back with us. Go ahead, Roger.
So you've been waiting for Lake Marion leading Hunt County 7-6 in the first. And y'all had to speak about Hunt County in the lower state. Hunt County is really in the Midlands. And it's pointing south, Dorchester County, Allendale County, Hampton County, and Colton County, all lower state.
There it is. Thank you, Roger.
I like the clarification.
See, I like the clarification. And Roger brings that up from last week. That's important, and that shows commitment. Hunter County Tyler trailing 7-6 in that score update.
The Fighting Rogers.
Yes. From Nieces. We've got those, I print the media rankings out every week.
And for 4 and 5A, you
I don't really need
start adopting the RPI.
Yeah, I don't really need them
We have a more formulaic way of ranking them now.
By the way, HKT is in a tie for 10th with Hannah Pamplico in Class 1A.
Hannah Pamplico got ejected from the club last week.
Yes, they did.
Loss.
There aren't many undefeated teams in anything less than 3A, which is pretty impressive. Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Jeff is on with us. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, good evening. I enjoy your show. Can you tell me an update on Chapin and Somerville? And you by chance find a score on Chesterfield, who they're playing tonight? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you calling in, man. Chesterfield tonight is playing at 2-1 McBee.
Yes.
I don't have a score on that one for the moment. And the last score I got for Somerville Chapin was Green Wave up on Chapin 7-0. I don't know if we've gotten any word on what's happened since then, but that was a first quarter score, so we're still keeping tabs on that one. But thank you for calling in, man.
Appreciate that, Jeff. Thanks for listening, as always. We'll keep track of that Chesterfield game, though, because Chesterfield's 4-0.
Yep. Undefeated club, baby.
And McBee's pretty good. Fighting Rick Henry's always decent, and they're having a little tough time to start the year. But yeah, last update 7-0. We'll keep you updated on that Chapin Somerville score because that is a top 5 matchup in the RPI. Whatever.
RPI.
More of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. On the game, Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird behind the glass, running this thing as we'll stick to, keeping the train on the tracks. We've got a Stanford team that's up 10-0 on Syracuse. Illinois up 7-0 on Nebraska. Dylan Raiola has a bit of an arm as the Huskers are near midfield.
That last pass he threw that was completed for a first down earlier had some life on it, brother.
Did not like holding the ball for as long as he did take a sack to set up a 3rd and 10. But again, another good ball there for a first down. So we're keeping track of those games, keeping track of the high school games across the state. If you've got a score that you want to let us know about, please hit us on the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. And if you listened a long time or all the time and you haven't called in before, be like Jeff.
Yes.
And call in.
Yes.
And ask us for a score. We'll give those to you if we can. It's 8:20. We're inching closer to halftime, which is when we're going to get a good batch of scores that are actually up to date. Right now, we're dealing with a lot of some games aren't showing scores, some games are. It's a mixed bag here. So before we get there, I want to note some games that might be on your radar tomorrow. Everyone's tuning in for the noon game on Fox between Marshall and Ohio State.
Certainly. Go Herd, baby.
Big noon kickoff.
Randy Moss ain't walking through that door.
NC State's at Clemson. Florida is at Mississippi State.
Anxiety Bowl.
Sunshine Billy.
Anxiety Bowl for Billy specifically.
If you lose to Jeff Lebby, we got big time problems, in my opinion. In Indiana, the aforementioned Indiana Hoosiers are hosting the Charlotte 49ers, making that drive up to Indiana. Let's go back to the Love Chevy phone lines. Kale is with us. Kale, what you got?
What's up, guys? Sitting here in my living room with the Syracuse-Stanford game on my TV, and I've got the Hammond game being played on my laptop. Thought I'd call in and give you a score update. On the very first play of the second quarter, Hammond has a 35-yard touchdown run by Kenton Hollins, who put the Skyhawks up 42-0 over Hilton Head Christian in the first 2 minutes of the second quarter.
Run that by me one more time.
Did you say 42-0?
Yes, 42-0 in the first with only less than a minute into the second quarter.
As in they have scored 6 touchdowns
in
a quarter and a minute.
Yes.
I had to do the math really quick. Exactly. Kale had to do the math really quick. He's like, hold on, I'm not feeling well. Let me do quick math.
Well, the Hammond defense has already forced at least 2 interceptions, one of them being a pick six. The Hilton Head Christian quarterback has had no time at all, as he is just running for his life every time he takes the snap.
Thoughts and prayers to his family.
Thank you, Kale.
Oh, my goodness.
Appreciate it, man.
Thoughts and prayers to all their families. My goodness, that sounds like abuse.
Remember earlier tonight before the game started, I mentioned Reed McCullum has accounted for 1,597 yards and 15 touchdowns this year.
I didn't think you meant tonight.
Yeah, well, not the yardage tonight. Gracious.
Good night,
Gracious.
I think they're safely secured into that undefeated club.
I think running clock, second half.
Firmly.
Hammond, over-under Hammond done by 9-10 tonight.
Under.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
They might be done in the next 20 minutes.
Could
Mercifully.
be. Just speed up that halftime report and the halftime show, whatever you got going on. Really quickly, looking at some more scores that are games that are tomorrow. James Madison is in North Carolina, appointment viewing on the ACC network. Woo-woo. Virginia's going to Myrtle Beach or Conway.
Not quite Myrtle Beach.
Not
David
quite Myrtle Beach.
Cloninger will get on to you.
You cannot see the beach from Brooks Stadium. You cannot. I promise you. You just can't.
Not unless you use your imagination.
But Virginia is a 3.5-point favorite on the road. The CBS 3:30 game is a conference game between Southern Cal and Michigan.
Disgusting.
Southern Cal is a 4.5-point favorite. Give me Michigan to cover and win outright.
I like them to win that outright. Michigan has looked so gross this year, but like they're starting Alex Orji at quarterback, the guy who was the backup last year, who was the presumed starter going into this year. And they started Davis Warren, a former walk-on, and the offense has looked like hot garbage. I think just at least giving you a quarterback that has a threat, at least with his legs, is going to help you a little bit. And I do think Southern Cal is going to have a wee bit of an issue with that type of travel. These type of long road games are so hard to win in terms of just geography. I mean, Southern Cal is impressive as they looked against LSU in that win in Las Vegas on Labor Day weekend. This is a game that I have always felt, even since the summer, was a perfect trap game, regardless of how both of these teams have looked.
LSU is welcoming UCLA into the family. 3:30 ABC.
My family. Why did it make it sound like Forrest Gump?
Just done with LSU. Louisville is hosting Georgia Tech. Should be a very good
10.5-point favorites, Louisville is. That almost impressive. Feels a smidge high. Am I crazy? Or is Louisville not 10 points better than Georgia Tech?
My favorite game tomorrow we'll get to in just a second. First, let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry joins us on the line. Go ahead, sir.
I'll tell you what, I'm still stinging from last week's game. I don't care what you say. If the top 6 teams in the SEC, which is not in order, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, and probably No. Texas A&M. If they would have been playing LSU last Saturday, half of those penalties would not have been called because the SEC wants to get 6 teams in the new playoff. And that's what it was. If it was anybody else, if it was Georgia playing, they wouldn't have been a foul call. That's okay. Bema, we want a blowout. We need a blowout. Sit Sellers down, let him watch, let him heal. We want a blowout. 51-17. And Moonhall, Gilbert Indians go lose again. 0-4 in 2024. Go Moonhall, go Gamecocks. Love all y'all.
Thank you, Gamecock Larry. Appreciate the call as always. I will say I do not agree on the premise at all. No, the SEC doesn't need the help of the officials to get 6 teams in the college football playoff.
No, because you're missing. Gamecock Larry, appreciate it. Really, I
always appreciate it. I do. Even if I don't
Bama,
agree,
yes.
I appreciate
Georgia, yes. Tennessee, yes. Texas, yes. LSU, Oklahoma, You're missing Ole Miss, who's number 5.
They'll make the playoff.
And Mizzou, who's number 7.
Will more than likely make the playoff.
By the way, of those teams, I can tell you, Bama will probably make it. Georgia will probably make it. Tennessee and Texas will probably make it. Outside of that, I think the SEC's only getting 4.
Yeah, because the Big Ten's pretty good too.
Whomst has Ole Miss played? Roger is on the Love Chevy phone lines. Go ahead, sir.
Halftime score: Greenwood Christian 15, Auburn Prep nothing.
Thank you, sir. Roger with an update on Greenwood Christian. We appreciate it. I know we're a high school show. We're waiting on halftime scores, by the way, which is why we're talking about these things. My favorite game, 4 o'clock, should be big noon kickoff. The combined age of the starting quarterbacks of Oklahoma State.
Yes. The real Senior Bowl.
Yes.
This is the Senior Citizens Bowl for college-age kids.
Oklahoma State and Utah, 4 o'clock kick. It's the AARP special. Utah.
This is the we're not on our parents' insurance anymore special.
Which is good because Cam Rising is getting hurt a lot. Utah is a 1-point favorite out in Stillwater. Vanderbilt goes to Mizzou. That bloom is off the rose of Vanderbilt.
Brutal.
TCU is at SMU on the CW.
Anchor down.
And UTEP is at Colorado State on True TV. Miami goes to South Florida. Look out. Cal goes to Florida State.
Tallahassee.
The big game in the SEC has the Volunteers, the number 6 team. The number 6 team in the nation, Tennessee.
Crazy to
going
think
to
about.
Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners in their first SEC game, going up against Josh Heupel, who was their quarterback, who won a national championship there.
The storylines for this game are so great. This is great.
And
that's why damn well that if Josh Heupel gets a lead in the fourth quarter, he is going to be chucking it down the field on 3rd down or 4th down. He's going to try to run that score up so bad because of how they treated him when he was an OC. He will find Bob Stoops and give him the double bird salute and make sure he walks out of there a winner. Like that guy I know that guy wants to win this game in the worst of ways.
The Gamecocks take on Akron tomorrow night at 7:30. 26.5.
It's gone down.
The over-under's at 41.5. And you're a 26-point favorite.
I have a feeling this one's 33-10.
Ole Miss hosts Georgia Southern. Do you know who the head coach of Georgia Southern is?
That'd be Clay Helton.
Yes, it would. What a move. What a move from Los Angeles to Statesboro.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Because they're a little angsty at Georgia Southern.
Yes,
they are clamoring for results. That is a football tradition-rich program that
Texas
will not accept losing at the level Clay Helton has lost there.
Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium, Texas, the number 1 team in all the land, takes on Louisiana Monroe. Arch Manning continues his Heisman campaign.
To some, and that's silly.
Colorado hosts Baylor tomorrow night at 8.
Hey, Deion can get him away.
Late game.
About damn time.
Late game out in Provo at Lavelle Edwards. Kansas State at BYU. And then we have a trophy game tomorrow, and I'll wrap it up with this one. There's a trophy game tomorrow.
Yes.
Between Minnesota and Iowa. And that trophy is the greatest trophy in the history of trophies. It's the Floyd of Rosedale trophy.
Floyd of Rosedale.
Have you seen the Floyd of Rosedale trophy?
No.
Google it.
Floyd of Rosedale.
Floyd of Rosedale. I leave you with that as we get ready to head to break, because it is important to note that the Floyd of Rosedale is the greatest college football trophy in all the land. We'll have scores, halftime reports coming up from the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show perspective next on the game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right here on the game. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird with you on a Friday night. Before we get a look at some scores from across the state, we go back to the Love Chevy phone lines. Roger's back with us. Go ahead, sir.
I got two-game score. First of all, Lake Marion leading Hancock Top 14-6 in the second. Barnwell leading Swansea 7-0 in the second.
Well, that's a big one. See, I hadn't seen a score from Barnwell and Swansea yet. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Roger's always on it for us. Lake Marion up 14-6 on Hunter Kiner Tyler, and Barnwell, the Warhorses, leading Swansea 7-0 at Swansea in the second quarter. TL Hanna and Greenwood are tied at 7 at halftime. That's your score there, and an update from Riverside and Dorman leading Riverside 10-6 at the half.
Undefeated club in question.
A lot of them are. One that might not be in question is Richland Northeast. They lead Camden 26-7.
They're balling. They are balling right now.
They're there are some things you go, where did that come from? That might be one of them. I
expected it to be closer.
I picked Richland Northeast to win, actually, which, by the way, take that, Terry Ford.
That's right, if you're listening right now.
The Swansea pick might not end well, but at this point right now, it looks like I'm going to at least be 2-2. If you're 500, it's all right.
Hey,
if I were to bat 500,
you're in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
First ballot.
And it ain't close, brother.
Yeah. All field issues can happen. I'm still getting in the Hall of Fame.
So many Hall of Famers had issues in the field.
Well, but the writers only care about certain ones. Woodruff leads Chesney 17-14. A 39-yard field goal puts Woodruff up at the break. A lot of these games are at halftime. Cardinal Newman over Heathwood Hall 14-0 at the half as well. Looking for a few more here. Gamecock volleyball got a win today over Clemson. As I scroll,
any win over Clemson's a good win.
As I scroll through,
I don't care
Twitter.
what sport.
Chapin and Somerville are having a good ball game. It's fun down there in the Low Country. Chapin scored to make it 7-7. Somerville answered right back, 39-yard touchdown pass. Well, Brady Albro says, whatever you can do, I can do better.
I can do anything better than you.
80 yards for a touchdown. Tied at 14 with 5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Brady Albro and Bostic have such a good connection. The Bostic kid can play receiver, man. Yeah, that kid can play. I saw it a lot at the Chronicle last year, and Albro was one of those kids that you'd watch, in practice. Got great arm talent, good command of the offense, and you thought you might be a year away. This is the year that he was away from. The kids put up some electric numbers this year, and that Chapin team can score at will. To me, the big thing tonight was I knew they could score some points on Somerville. Can they keep Somerville at bay? Can they keep Somerville from putting up a ton of points? And the fact that we're at 14-14 right now, this juncture of the game, tells me a lot about Chapin. This is, regardless of how this one ends up, I like how Chapin's competed in this first half.
Agreed.
And they're about to reach a schedule limit. Look, the schedule they're about to play in their region is daunting.
Yes, it is.
It is daunting. And they're getting a great sample of what a daunting schedule is like with Somerville tonight, because Somerville's a team that is, perpetually contending in 5A. And the fact they're hanging tough right there tells me they could be the spoiler. Maybe they are this year's White Knoll, a team that kind of surprises people with how competitive they are in the most competitive region in the state.
A Wyatt Thompson to Levante Williams touchdown makes it 26-15. Camden back within 11 there with a minute to go in the first half.
Camden said, "Don't forget about me."
We go to the Love Chevy phone lines. Kale joins us. Go ahead, sir.
What's up, guys? Just a halftime score update for the Hammond Hilton Head Christian game. Hammond leads 55-0 at halftime.
Ooh, it is not over. It is not mercifully over yet. 55-0. Yeah, Hammond Wagon. That's a wagon status team right there.
I used to do public address announcing for a specific school that is referenced in that ball game. It wasn't Hilton Head. And I used to love games like that, guys, because I was going to get to go home early.
That's right.
You run, Kale, you run, you get your Coke and your French fries if you want them, or whatever it is that they're serving over there at the snack stand, and you head back up there, and you're in the booth again for maybe another 15 minutes. 12 minutes running clock, so you're probably getting 24 more minutes of game time, period. Oh, man. Not a bad thing to do PA for schools that score 55 points and a half.
Man, yeah, newspaper writing, the running clock games are always the best games because you can file your story early. You don't have to stress about getting it in on time. You can get that bad boy filed and get your happy rear end home for some Sammy Adamses and some college football at night.
And then you're covering a game the next day.
That's right. And you do it all again the next day. The cycle persists.
But no running clock in college football, as we saw last week when a game that started at 12:12 ended at close to 5 o'clock.
3 hours, 59 minutes, I believe, was the total run time for South Carolina and LSU. As if I wasn't tired enough going into that game and doing a pregame show starting at 7 a.m. Dog, I slept like a baby that Saturday night. The minute I got home, I was ready to get in bed.
Northwestern's also put up half 100. They lead 50-13 with a minute 29 to go in the half.
And they were down to start the game.
They were down 7-0 start the game. They're up 50-13. Hartsville leads Dillon 17-14 at the half. Might be important to note. And then Midland Valley leads Gray Collegiate 14-13 at the half. Might be one to note. River Bluff leads Sherrall 31-0. That one probably at the half by now. How about Batesburg-Leesville? You seen a score? You seen a score?
I
yet?
have not.
41-0.
Woo, getting to stay in the club just a little bit longer.
Every week we have a theme. And every week it's something different. 1 week it's defensive ball. The next week it's special teams, special plays, special players, whatever. This week it is high-scoring football. We've had a 55. We've had a 50. Judge Fork has 48. Batesburg-Leesville has 41. Keep those things in mind as we roll through. North Augusta leads Gilbert 14-7, and a good one there. Newberry over Fairfield Central 21-7. Here you go. Sumter, second quarter, 49-7.
Ooh, is tonight the blowout night?
Over Spring Valley. I think tonight's blowout night. I really do. Irmo, 17-6 over Myrtle Beach. And I've still got 13-0 Airport over Aiken right now. As we roll through some of these scores, as they start to, slowly trickle in. Let's see. Burns trail. Wow. A young man named Jamarcus Smith just had his second 99-yard touchdown of the night. This one's a kickoff return. Gaffney leads Burns 22-14 with 6:43 to play in the half.
Or Gaffney leads Boiling Springs.
Yes, correct. Sorry. Boiling Springs. Yes.
A game of 2 5A undefeated club members. That, to me, was kind of... So, like, R&E and Camden was our game of the night. My secondary game of the night was Gaffney, Boiling Springs.
Out of the
undefeated
footprint.
teams in 5-0. A little out of the footprint here, but a fun one to keep an eye on. 22-14. Yeah, that can come down to the wire.
Yeah,
that has a good nominee to be our best finish of the night.
Chester leads Union County 38-0.
Oi.
Yeah, and these games are getting out of hand, folks.
Could this be the ultimate running clock Friday of the year? I mean, it took us, 5 weeks to get to this point?
It did.
Tonight could very well be the night.
Halftime at Airport. Airport leads Aiken 14-8. It's weird how it was 13-0 and now it's 14-8.
I didn't know you can do 1 point play in high school football.
Well, not unless it's tacked on to the end of a touchdown, Louisville.
Normally, yes.
Louisville leads Andrew Jackson 14-0. Looking for a few more here. We mentioned Irmo up 17-6. Yeah, 2-point conversion was good for Camden, so it's 26-15 with a minute to go. Don't count out Camden up at historic Zemp Stadium. Crazier things have happened. Hey, what you don't want is you don't want your offense, if you're R&E, to go turtle. That's what you don't want. And you're in jeopardy of that possibly happening if you start to play too conservatively as you look down the stretch. Let's see here. A few more scores, trying to find some as we look across the landscape. Oh, by the way, college football, Dylan Raiola just threw a touchdown pass, so the world rejoices.
That's right.
As Patrick Mahomes Jr.
The Patrick Mahomes mini-me.
Yeah, this did a great job. Cool. Yeah, Airport and Aiken just getting to halftime.
That one is 13-8. I think we confirmed according to the Airport Twitter account.
Yes, 13-8.
Yes,
14-8. So
someone got a little
13-8.
too presumptuous on the point after attempt.
Yeah, and they've had 13 points for quite a while now, so it's not as if that just happened. But Airport trying to get that first win of the year. We believe along with them that it can happen. At least I do. Beaufort leads Battery Creek 21. There you go.
Airport's got a friend of the show.
Beaufort leads Battery Creek 21-7 as well. The media poll doesn't really matter for 5A and 4A, but if you want it, you got it. Dutch Fork's the number one team in 5A. Gaffney is 2, followed by Northwestern, Somerville, Irmo, Sumter, Hillcrest, JL Man, White Knoll, Boiling Springs. Boiling Springs kind of came out of nowhere. Did I just say Nebraska's held the ball for 11.5 minutes? Holy cow.
And Illinois had it for 2.
And they have a touchdown. West Side over is number 1, Daniel 2. Camden 3. Camden's 3 in the media rankings, 5.
In the RPI?
Let me make sure I get that number right.
The Rippy?
Camden's 5 in the RPI, and Bristol Northeast is 4 in the RPI. They're 6 in the media rankings. 24-6, Irmo over Myrtle Beach at the half.
Irmo tacking on another one.
Mountain View Prep Mountain View Prep is the number 3 team in 3A. They lead the Asheville Blues 35-7 at halftime. Mountain View Prep's official Twitter X page, whatever it is. Credit to Asheville, great coaches, great student athletes. But Mountain View Prep taking care of business. 35.
I love putting that in the tweet. Great coaches, great student athletes. We're going to crush you.
Yeah, great coaches, great athletes. You're all great people. We're going to continue to run the score up on you in the second half.
We will remember this when we annihilate you.
In the name of tightening up some things. We'll wrap up hour number 2 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right after this on The Game. Welcome back in the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Final segment of hour number 2 underway now on the program as we're looking at high school halftime scores from across the state. There are some interesting, well, I'll put it this way. There are blowouts in a lot of different places tonight. It hasn't been exactly fun.
And high and
for
low
a lot
places.
of these teams. Right. Burns. The Road Warriors.
Yes.
Look at that graphic. I'm looking at their graphic on their official Twitter page or formerly Twitter page. They got a player wrapped in the American flag. That's something.
That's patriotism, baby. Like Wade Hampton tonight, looks like.
Yes, they lead. A good call on the logo there. They lead 28-0. By the way, Burns won state championships in 76, 82, 86, 02, 03, 04, 05, 07, 08, 2010, and 2011.
That's pretty good. I wonder what happened after 2011 to make sure they didn't win
some team
many.
named Dutch Fork, I think.
Yeah, that tracks.
That timeline matches.
Interesting score alert. Halftime, McBee up 14-0 on undefeated Chesterfield. We had a caller earlier request the score of that.
There you go.
And the Fighting Rick Henrys might be assisting Ed Bird with a soft ejection of a team from the undefeated club. Yeah. Chesterfield undefeated coming into tonight, and they are shut out after a half.
That one's I'm not going to say shocking because Lord knows I can't say shocking on this program because people tell me it's not shocking. Well, I don't know.
It is to most.
Maybe
not to you.
Maybe not to you, but I can be shocked.
We speak for ourselves on this program.
That's very true. Again, we mentioned Mountain View Prep leading at 35-7 over that team from Asheville. That has some connection to the program here.
Some. For what reason?
Irmo leads Myrtle Beach 24-6. That one's at the half. Do we want to get a full rundown of the scoreboard, sir? Have we gotten one yet?
Let's do it just for giggles, Mr. Ed Bird, if you do not mind.
Wow, that was fast.
That's electric. That is electric. Blythewood Westwood, it was 0-0 at the half. I don't know if we've gotten anything since then, but we will effort that. RNE in our game of the week up 26-15 on Camden. Northwestern dropping a hammer on Nation Ford right now, 55-13. The Fighting Justin Halls at Airport, whole school friend of the show, leading Aiken 13-8. They are on the great pursuit of win number 1. Chapin and Somerville tied at 14. And a battle of two 5A undefeated club members, Gaffney and Boiling Springs. It's Gaffney with a lead. They're up 22-14. Batesburg, Leesville all up on Calhoun County, 41-0. They're looking to stay in that undefeated club. Midland Valley Great Collegiate. I know I have an incorrect score here right now. It was 13-7 earlier.
It's 14-13 Midland Valley.
14-13 Midland Valley. Newberry and Fairfield Central. That one's on right now. It was 7-0. Fairfield Central now up, 14-7? It was.
That's the last one I have.
14-7 Fairfield Central. They're leading. TL Hanna and Greenwood. Greenwood up 7-0. Irmo up on Myrtle Beach at the half, 24-6. Hammond up at the half on Hilton Head Christian, 55-0. That should qualify as abuse. Landrum up 13-0 on West Oak as of last reporting. Dutch Fork is also taking a bag of hammers to Oceanside Collegiate right now, 28-0. South Point, as of last reporting, up on AC Flora, 21-zip. Speaking of zips, Akron in the house tomorrow. River Bluff up 9-0 on Sherrall. They're still undefeated. White Knoll up big on Cane Bay, 21-6. I can only expect that lead to grow as the night goes on. Lake Marion up on Hunter, Kiner, Tyler, the Fighting Rogers, friend of the show, up 14-6. Barnwell leads Swansea in the ultimate South Carolina underdog, 7-0. Mountain View Prep up on the Fighting Jay Phillipses of the Asheville School. We don't get to mention them a lot. That's a 35-7 game as of last reporting. Belton Honeypath, who getting thumped by Westside last week, they're bouncing back pretty well. They're up 17-7 on Palmetto at the half. Hartsville, the team that I referred to as the buffet line, because they got a little bit one of everything. One win, one loss, one tie. But they are up 17-14 on Dillon at the half. Lee up on Sumter Generals, not Sumter High School.
Oh, well done.
Okay. Clarification needs to be made there because Sumter High School doing pretty well. I don't think they'll be shut out like that at any point this year. Wilson Hall, they're in the undefeated club in the Skeeza ranks. They're up on Camden Military, 35-0. Goodness gracious. Lakeview shutting out Johnsonville and their brats, 23-0 at halftime. Lotta up on Green Sea Floyd's, 26-zip. Hannah Pamplico up on Carver's Bay, 26-zip. Andrews up on Calhoun Falls Charter, 49-0. Marlboro County and North Myrtle Beach. There were some safety concerns, according to one of our YouTube commenters, Stephen Bessinger. Shout out, buddy. Thank you for the info. That game has been canceled, so that there will be, to quote Semi-Pro and the broadcaster Dick Pepperfield, our score inconclusive. Kingstree and Marion. Kingstree leads 24-16 at the half. Mullins leads Atlantic Collegiate 14-0 at the half. Bamberg Earhart up on Woodland 14-12 at the half. Andrews leading Waccamaw 22-13 at the half. Update, Lake Marion and Hunter Kiner Tyler tied at 14. Update, Swansea. They're at the break on that one. It's still 14-0 Barnwell. They tacked on an extra touchdown, the War Horses did. Swansea going to have to dig their way out of that hole here in half number 2. MacBee still up on Chesterfield, 14-0. Great Falls up on Buford, 8-7. Newberry and Fairfield Central. This score here on ScoreStream says Newberry up 28-7. So I must have read that one backwards earlier. Still have donuts on the board between Columbia and Wagner Sally at the half. Chester and Union County, and this one's not close. Chester's up 38-0. Chapman up 7-6 on Christchurch Episcopal. This would be a big win for Chapman and the Fighting Debo Samuels if they were to hold on and pull it off. Walhalla leads Liberty 14-7. Landrum now up 34-0 on West Oak. That one has changed dramatically. Woodruff leads Chesney 17-14. Pageland Central up big on Blacksburg 44-zip. Irmo, okay, still 24-6 on that one. West Florence leaves Lugoff Elgin 7-0. That's in the second quarter. Bluffton is up 17-zip on Lucy G. Beckham. Beaufort up on Battery Creek on the road, 21-7 at the half. Wilson shutting out Lakewood after one half of football, 14-0. South Florence leading Crestwood 14-7 at halftime. Midland Valley still holds a 1-point advantage on Gray Collegiate at halftime, 14-13. North Augusta leads Gilbert 17-7. Brooklyn Casey trying to get into add to the win column here. They're up on South Aiken 20-14 at halftime. South Point now leads AC Flora 28-14. Seneca in the undefeated club up on Travelers Rest 29-12. Daniel leads Clinton 14-6 at the break. Blue Ridge leads Pickens 13-7 at the break as well. Greer is berating Berea 47-0 after 2 quarters. Strom Thurmond leads Emerald 13-0. Sumter, the Fighting Gamecocks, Sumter High School.
There it is.
Up 49-7. It was 49-0. Spring Valley has tacked on a score to make it a little less of a beatdown. Still a beatdown nonetheless. Update on River Bluff and Cheraw, 38-0 River Bluff. They are crushing, doing what they do. Burns up on Wade Hampton, 42-0. Dutch Fork has now extended their lead to Oceanside Collegiate, 48-0. Dorman leads Riverside, 10-6 at the half. Conway leads Anner. Anor. Okay.
Aner.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been botching that for weeks, brother. 14-11 Conway leads at the half. Interesting update here. We're now 22-22. Chapin and Somerville. That one is getting frisky.
We'll have to get into that one when we come back. Yeah.
Carolina Forest leads Ashley Ridge 21-13. TL Hanna now up on Greenwood 14-7. JL Mann up on Easley 34-zip at the half. Hillcrest all over the Fighting Kevin Garnett's of Malden 37-0 in the second quarter. Lincoln County from Georgia up on Silver Bluff 35-0. And lastly, Westside leads Prince Avenue Christian 28-21.
Roger, hang tight. We'll get to you. Hour number 3 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game. Welcome back in hour number 3 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the game. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird with you here on a Friday night. It is week 5 of action, but
fifth week
of action, technically week 4, whatever. I don't understand it half the time, and yet I continue to mention it.
I understand nothing in life.
But it's worth noting that I just don't understand how we can botch basic logic and math so poorly. A 65-yard scoop and score makes it 42-6 for White Knoll midway through the third quarter.
Cane Bay, yikes. 46.
Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines. Roger bats leadoff for us in hour number 3. Roger, go right ahead.
Yeah, I got correct score. Batesville, Leesville, 47. Calhoun, Nutton, halftime. I'm at Greenwood Christian, 21. Prep, Nutton in the third.
21-0 in the third quarter, and Batesburg-Leesville's up big. Batesburg-Leesville's going to continue to roll, folks. They're not slowing down anytime soon.
Good for them, man. That's awesome. That's a school that deserves some football success with their history, a town that is high school football crazy. I love that, man. Yeah. The fact that them and Swansea have been able to turn it around this year and get 4-0 starts to start the year is mighty special.
We mentioned it last week with Chris Deering, who I look forward to chatting with tonight if his game wraps up. There are few better places to partake in football and barbecue than Batesburg-Leesville.
Sheely's, shout out.
Good gracious. Gosh.
Mighty good.
Makes you want to drive down I-20 right now.
That's a free pub right there.
Golly. They closed, too, so there's leftover food on the buffet line. They got to do something with. This game down in Somerville, this is one you just say, this game. So Somerville drives down to the 1-yard touchdown run. Extra point, no. 2-point conversion, yes. It's 22-14 with 2:16 left in the half. But wait, there's more.
You just Billy Mazed us.
R.I.P. Brady Albro on a counter for 6 yards. Coleon Martin on the counter for 6 yards. 2-point conversion is good. 22-22. A minute 44 left. But wait, there's more.
Billy Mays here.
Somerville scores with 8 seconds left. Second down, play ran. They had no timeouts. 2-point conversion attempt is good. 3 straight touchdowns with a 2-point conversion attempt to follow. No, it's not double overtime. It's the first half, but we've reached halftime. The Green Wave lead the Fighting Eagles of Chapin 30-22.
Yep, this is definitely a this game moment.
Yes, it is.
It's back and forth. And look, that's one thing we were looking at earlier in the day was, can Chapin be able to hang tough with a legit 5A contender, because they're going to face nothing but legitimate 5A contenders in that entire region slate. For a game to be this tough for your last game going into region play, I commend them for even scheduling the game, but I commend them even more for hanging in there like that. And look, Somerville's a great team. The Fighting Preston Thorns do what the Fighting Preston Thorns do, and that is get into the end zone. 30-22 though at the half. Chapin's still very much so in this game, and that's a team that's very well equipped to win a shootout.
Score tied in Lincoln. 10-10 between Nebraska and Illinois. It's a top 25 showdown. Oh, a keeper.
Dylan
nice.
Raiola.
You got to slide, son. You're a freshman. But there's the Patrick. There's the Patrick Mahomes celebration. And Syracuse is up 13-10. Or excuse me, Stanford is up 13-10 on Syracuse.
Earlier, 13-3.
Earlier, well, yeah, they were. Earlier in that ball game, right before the 2-minute timeout. Is that what we're calling it? Is that what we have to call it?
In college, yeah, they insist that we call this the 2-minute timeout. It's a 2-minute warning,
because it's not the 2-minute warning, and we didn't. Anyway, they had that, and then before the 2-minute mark, they had a play that kind of was controversial on whether it was targeting or needed to be reviewed. So they take the 2-minute timeout, they go to commercial break. And that's when the guy in the red hat runs out onto the field and stands there with the clock, and everyone has to stand there and wait.
Wait for it to hit 0.
Then they come back from commercial break, and they blow the play dead to review.
What are we doing?
All I'm asking.
What are we doing? We're going to make these games 5 hours long if we keep up with this BS. Come on.
Well, the commercials have to feed them somehow. It's 13-10 though. Syracuse struck back
inventory. Come on,
pretty quick. It's 28 seconds to go. Syracuse's jerseys and helmets look a lot like jerseys specifically. They got an Alabama look to them.
Yeah, the Stanford helmets they're giving me Indiana vibes with like the chrome look, white logo.
You know, in these day and age, you could just say that it's giving Indiana.
It's giving Indiana. I can drop the vibes.
You can drop the vibes because what you said.
I mean, I guess in Gen Z talk that does make it, what is it, redundant?
Redundant.
Yeah, a little bit. See, I am a millennial. We are millennials on this show. I have 2 younger siblings that are very much so Gen Z. So that's really where I get my feed. I'm not on TikTok a lot, so a lot of my Gen Z lingo just comes from communication with my younger siblings. That's it.
Your Reds won.
They
beat
did.
The Pirates 8-3.
We are not the worst cellar dweller in the NL Central. Hang the banner at Great American Ballpark. Hang the banner, Justin Hall. Hang the banner.
I'm not going to do that. Halftime, we're third place. Halftime between Brooklyn Casey and South Aiken, as my brain had to wrap myself around who exactly I was talking about. Brooklyn Casey leads 20-14 over, or 21-14 over South Aiken. South Aiken's going to receive the second half kickoff. And I'm looking for an update between Blythewood and Westwood if I can find it.
I'm looking right now on ScoreStream. It says Westwood. It's final. Won. Westwood 7, Blythewood nothing.
They won, and they won the Axe.
They win the
trophy
Axe.
game. 7-0. The Battle of the Axe between Westwood and Blythewood. And does that mean, really quick, I got to go back and look.
That means Blythewood's getting ejected from the club.
Wow.
They can hear Ed Bird's footsteps. He's coming up the stairs. He's got a security jacket on, and he's about to tell somebody, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The Blythewood Bengals no longer invited to the undefeated club. They no longer have the resume required to stay in and drink the unlimited Gatorade, specifically the orange Gatorade. It's the best one, which is just endlessly on tap in the undefeated club.
Yeah, that's a great point. Are they in the same region? Is that a region game?
I believe it is.
I'm looking for their region, and I'm having a tough time finding it. But I could do this very simply. I can just type in Blythewood and see where we're at here because I'll have search and replace. So we'll look for that because I believe that's a region game. I'd be hard-pressed to know that wasn't a region game. But a big win for Westwood now.
Massive.
Back-to-back wins.
Massive win for Westwood, yes.
Back-to-back wins for those guys. They
hard fought, 7-0. I mean, we're playing Big Ten football, baby.
Yeah.
We're playing field possession. We're playing low scoring. We're playing punting is offense.
I'm a big fan of that one. Yeah, that's a region game. So
big region winner.
Sumter is playing Spring Valley. They'll get the win there. Blythewood is playing Westwood. Westwood gets the win there. Have we heard anything from Lugoff Elgin?
As of last reporting, in terms of Lugoff Elgin, I need to scroll up here a little bit. I don't know how accurate this is in terms of like recency. So last we saw, Lugoff Elgin was trailing West Florence 7-0 in the second quarter.
Okay. I like Lugoff Elgin as a club right now. I like him as a ball team. We'll see what happens because something about them this year. I think they're going to be a tough out should they get to the playoff side of things. I think they could be a tough out there. And
the vibes are there.
Yeah, I think they could be a tough out there. But again, you're starting to see
success.
Yeah, there you go. You're starting to see some things take shape. Gray Collegiate has retaken the lead in the third quarter over Midland Valley. It's now 20-14. War Eagles.
Ooh, some good back and forth right there.
Dylan Raiola. Gosh, he just did a sidearm throw like Patrick Mahomes.
I'm telling you,
it's bothersome.
No one cosplays in college athletics like Patrick Mahomes, quite like Dylan Raiola does. He made a really good pass right there. They're reviewing it right now. Yeah. Isaiah Naylor, though, made an incredible contested catch. If that one stands, it's going to be 16-10 Nebraska pending PAT.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and the headband and everything. I'm bothered.
Headband, the hair's the same, the mannerism's the same. He's wearing number 15.
Rich Spring Minetta is up 13-0 on Eau Claire. Hartsville is leading Dillon 24-14. But look, I got to go back now because Dillon's 3A. I got to go back and look. Dillon's the number one team in 3A.
Number 1. Hard to get better than that.
Hartsville's not ranked. Hartsville's not receiving votes.
They're at the buffet, man.
And
they got
lead
a little bit of
Dillon.
everything.
They lead Dillon 24-14 in the third quarter. Do you know why that's the case, folks? You don't just waltz into Kellytown.
No.
And walk out of there not bruised and battered, let me tell you.
Or with an L.
Hartsville, it's basically Friday Night Lights without all the drama.
Just the football.
Just the football.
Just the football, baby.
Clear eyes, full hearts can't lose.
Just that's football.
Just. By the way, that show would have had a lot more legs if they'd have just stuck with the football. I know you're a big movie guy on the side of that, but when it comes to the show, just stick with the football. You'd have been much more successful.
After a while, you can only add so many storylines.
How about do we just? You gave the score of the Sumter Generals and the Lee Cavaliers 35-0 Lee over Sumter over in Bishopville, but I will like to note that it just seems to me like that is a Thomas Sumter Robert E. Lee name game.
Ooh,
is that fair?
Is
that fair? I think that's fair.
It's giving, yeah.
We've created a monster. Lakeview leads Johnsonville 23-0, 40-0. Latta over Green Sea Floyds. The Trojans trailed the Vikings there 40-0. Hannah Pamplico over Carvers Bay 33-0 at the half. Andrews over Calhoun Falls Charter 49-0. There's that Marlboro County over North Myrtle Beach 1-0.
Are they counting that as a forfeit? If
I don't know. I think it's a cancellation. Yeah, this scoreboard's not giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Based off what we know, it would feel like an injustice for one team to get a win and a loss.
Yeah,
if we're not going to take the field.
It would. Atlantic Collegiate, the Armada.
Oh, that's great. It's a great team name.
How about this? The Armada, which I want to really quickly Google the definition of Armada.
I know of the Spanish Armada.
Yes. 15, I can look up the history of that.
15,
An armada is a fleet of warships.
Yes.
Or a Spanish naval invasion force sent against England by Philip II of Spain in 1588.
No match for Queen Elizabeth's little mini boats.
Correct. Destroyed by storms off the coast there. The Armada, so a fleet of warships, are going up against some auctioneers out of Mullins. Who is the most famous product of Mullins?
That'd be Xavier Leggett.
Yes, it would be. Mullins leads 14-0. We just went a long way there to tell you that Mullins is leading 14-0.
That's what we do here. We want to be educational and informative because that's what high school football's about. It's about education.
That's what high school's about, actually, is
education.
This is
stuff we learned in high school.
This isn't college where you can just go play football.
That's
and
right.
not play school.
Paper classes. Take Swahili if you're at North Carolina and playing basketball. Ayo.
Underwater basket weaving.
Another one of those paper classes.
Andrews,
you can't take paper classes in high school. You got to at least show a pulse.
Correct. Andrews, the Yellow Jackets, leads the Waccamaw Warriors 22-13. That one showing at the half. Barnwell over Swansea 14-0.
Oh, man, still 14-0. Man, Swans, we got to get on the board. Interesting one right here, too. Porter Gowd up 20-0 at the half at Bishop England. The Battling Bishops were in.
Bishops.
Also, great team nickname here.
You seen the mascot? You seen the logo?
No.
Oh, I'll show you.
No, while you're pulling that up. Bishop England, one of the few teams, I believe, is in 3A that is in the undefeated club. We've got a lot of teams that are getting an untimely visit from one Ed Bird to get an escort towards the exits tonight. And Bishop England, if this score holds against Porter Gowd, might be one of those teams.
I'm looking up the... I'll give you the graphic here in just a second. Buford trails Great Falls 8-7. That one's in the upstate. Buford out of Lancaster, South Carolina. They trail 8-7. Fairfield Central trails Newberry 28-14. That's the TV game tonight. The Cyclones of Chester lead the Union County Yellow Jackets 38-6, and the Razorbacks of Walhalla lead the Red Devils of Liberty 14-7.
Walhalla.
That one's in the second quarter. And the Chesney Eagles, here's a good one. The Chesney Eagles trail the Woodruff Wolverines 24-21. And now, here we go. They've updated it. It's canceled. They don't have a forfeiture there. It's canceled.
How it should be.
Here's your Lugoff Elgin score. I've got 7-0. West Florence over the Demons of Lugoff Elgin. The Marvin Ridge Mavericks out of Washoe, North Carolina, lead the Indian Land Warriors 14-9. Can you be another nickname other than the Warriors if you're Indian Land, South Carolina?
That's a very good point. I did not realize that's who Indian Land was playing tonight. I think my notes got that wrong.
Maybe the scoreboard has it wrong.
Maybe.
Who's to say? Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. More scores, more conversation about high school football, and who knows, maybe some other stuff right here on The Game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show, right in the midst of hour number 3 of the program. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird with you on a Friday night as we're looking across the state at some different action. Finally got to show Elijah the Battling Bishops logo. A very good logo. It's a bishop with boxing gloves.
Yeah, with boxing gloves on. Like, I want some punches, some jabs.
Like the Demon Deacons. You know, that kind of thing. It's pretty good.
I love the crossover between religion and violence.
We'll leave it there.
Demon deacons, fighting bishops. Usually, bishops are a little more pacifistic by nature, but not when you got boxing gloves on. It's time to throw hands, baby.
True.
They need that bishop right now. Down 20-0 at halftime.
Let's see here.
You got to get yourself on the board somehow.
27-14, Brooklyn Casey over South Aiken. So they're trying to pull away from that one. Third quarter between those two teams. It's still that time of year where there's really a lot of Major League Baseball. And as I'm scrolling through the platform formerly known as Twitter, a lot of Major League Baseball I have to sift through. Barnwell leads Swansea 14-0. The Warhorses up there. Wando over West Ashley 14-7. They're beginning the fourth quarter down there at West Ashley. So good pace, moving with some intentionality there. Hammond up 55-0 at half. We knew that one already, but
inhumane.
It's just Camden's getting the ball to start the third quarter. They're down by 11. 26-15. But again, getting the ball to start might be something worth it. Let's see. North Augusta leads Gilbert 17-7 in the third quarter. That is a region game, by the way, between those two teams.
A new region game.
Because Gilbert joined that region. Oh. Correct. Gilbert joined that region. So that is a region game and could be a region win for North Augusta here if they can hang on.
Makes even bigger of a game or a win for whoever it ends up stealing.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Looking for a few more here. Trying to find some more, but they are now few and far between. Chester leading Union County 46-6 in the middle of the third quarter. A lot of Midlands games are at halftime. A lot of Midlands games are going to wrap up sooner than we think because of running clocks. How about third quarter up at South Point? 42-14. Stallions over the the AC Flora Falcons. 42-14.
Good call on that one.
And
Terry Ford made you pick that one today.
Yes, he did. Right off the bat, by the way. How about this one between Gurr and Berea?
It's a lot of R's in that matchup.
It is. Greer leads Berea 61-0.
Oh, that's a berating of Berea.
Well done. Berea is the 25th ranked team in 4A according to the RPI. At 2-1, they'll be 2-2 after today.
That's never going to sound correct coming out of your mouth, referring to high school football in the RPI. I can already tell it makes you a little uncomfortable.
Can you tell? Can you tell? Like that's just
a little bit.
That's just weird.
I can sense the second guessing of it coming out of your mouth. That it just does not flow well with you.
By the way, this isn't exactly breaking news, but I didn't mention it earlier. According to many folks around the program, but this one coming specifically from Matt Zenitz on the Twitters, South Carolina is expected to start Robbie Ashford tomorrow at quarterback against Akron. Sources have told himself that would be CBS 24/7. Lenore Sellers has that ankle injury. And Lenore Sellers has been, quote, making progress this week. My follow-up is progressing from what to what?
That's another question. Anybody can say you're progressing somewhere.
I'm progressing.
Yeah. We're all progressing.
I'm progressing in age.
Yep.
Maybe not knowledge, but I'm progressing. So, like, if you progress from being bedridden to being able to sit up,
that's progressing.
That's progressing.
But not getting on a football field in 2 weeks progressing.
And I'm not saying that Lenoris is bedridden. Just making a point. Because if someone's yelling, I know.
It's something to definitely monitor, though, here in this bye week. I mean, it will give us something to talk about, something to monitor.
The big thing is you got 2 weeks. If you're him. I'm not saying tomorrow is not a given. And we're just talking about things we've been born into. We were in the break talking about things we've been born into. This is one of them. Tomorrow's not a given.
You are definitely PTSD struck.
Yes.
With some really bad South Carolina losses at Williams-Brice over the years.
Yes, I am. And two of them within the last decade.
And we're not even halfway through this decade.
Well, from the time the first one happened to now, it's a decade.
Okay. Are you referring to Appalachian State?
I am in 2019. Yes.
Citadel.
Yes.
Yep. The Citadel's the worst one, man.
Yeah, and a close one. And a close one against East Carolina a couple years ago.
A close one against Jacksonville State last year, too. You needed that Stone Blanton pick six.
Where's he at now?
Mississippi State.
That's right. How are they doing?
Not good. Toledo took him to the woodshed
when
last week.
When a MAC school comes into the SEC and makes you look like none of your guys could start for them.
That's bad. That's really bad.
High school scoreboard show update here for you. End of the third quarter in Greenwood, 21-18. T.O. Hanna leads.
Oh, that one can go down to the final possession.
Greenwood's got the ball now at their own 32, can make something happen. So it's far from over there. And again, we're waiting for Summerville and Chapin to get started again because it's 30-22, Summerville leading, but that game is at the half.
Back and forth.
All right. This just came in front of me, and I got to mention it.
You'd be remiss.
Yeah, I would be.
You'd be remiss.
Tomorrow's game between the Texas Longhorns and the University of Louisiana Monroe Warhawks.
They are the Warhawks now.
Excellent.
Yeah. Very nice.
It's actually in the tweet, and I didn't even see it. So the Warhawks Ducks are hitting the road in Austin. And we all know who Texas' quarterback is. No, it's not Quinn Ewers. It's Arch Manning.
Because Quinn Ewers is hurt. Not because there's some type of quarterback controversy. It's just because he's hurt.
Sure. Well, Quinn Ewers is out, so Arch Manning is playing. But Arch Manning is not the only big-name quarterback this matchup. Starting quarterback for the UL Monroe Warhawks, General Booty. Remember that guy?
And why, yes, there is a relation between General Booty and former Southern Cal quarterback John David Booty.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Together and bring it back to me.
Oh, goodness. This is... You couldn't help it. You couldn't help but mention that one.
I could not. How about this? Absolutely not.
Woo! Anthony Jackson goes 80 yards to the house. Greenville grabs its first lead of the night over Woodmont. It's 28-24. With 6:04 remaining in the third quarter.
That was a race to the pylon, too. That was a hell of a play.
Camden is driving, according to Uncle Lou Bajak. They're to the R&E 30.
Okay. Camden needs to score in the worst way. I mean, they need to come out of the locker room and with some real desperation. You cannot go without points here.
Offense alert from Airport. The Eagles are back on top. They were trailing 16-13. They are back on top, a 5-yard touchdown rush. They converted a 4th and 3 on the previous play and then take it 5 yards into the end zone. It's 20-16 with a minute left in the third quarter.
Ooh, trying to get in the win column, baby. You are flirting with the win column. The Fighting Justin Halls flirting with the win column.
Well, I mean, not all offenses can be explosive, but I'll take what we can get. York leads Drea 14-6. That one is, I believe, in the third quarter, maybe in the fourth. I'm seeing a message board post from somebody for the Gators thinking that could we get Bill Belichick? Oh, gosh.
Totally, yeah, sure.
Never leave college football.
Tell yourself that. Yeah,
tell
yourself that.
Never, ever leave. My guy Bill Belichick is making millions upon millions of dollars to not be bad in the NFL right now. Did you watch last night?
Horrific. I did not watch a lot because I don't know if you could pay me to watch the New England Patriots.
They made Aaron Rodgers and the Jets look competent.
Yeah, I don't know if you could pay me a healthy sum of money to watch an entire game, snap from snap, of a New England Patriots.
I will not tell the story of my NFL fandom on the air. That is saved for off the air. Just suffice it to say, I did have somewhat of a long ago rooting interest in that ball game last night, and I'm looking at that going, my gosh, this is not the kind of game I remember between these two teams.
No,
just put it that way. It's not what I remember. At all. And it has zero to do with Tom Brady.
We've come a long way from the butt fumble.
Yeah. You know that happened on my birthday?
No, you're late November, baby.
Thanksgiving night. That was a Thanksgiving night, Thursday night NBC game.
November
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah. And every year since.
Hey, happy early birthday.
Thank you. But guess what? Every year on my birthday, guess what pops up?
The butt fumble.
Anniversary of the the Jets are a gift that keeps on giving. There you go. So there's a look into the thing I wouldn't talk about. But hey, I enjoyed Monday night. I'll leave it at that. Camden's facing 4th and 19.
Oof.
Dorman leads Riverside 17-13.
Riverside, their status of the undefeated club now in question.
They were actually down further. They were down 17-6. But Jaden Speedy Taylor. Speedy. Of course, his nickname. If you're Speedy, you better be Speedy. He goes 65 yards.
They don't have a lot of offensive linemen nicknamed Speedy, which is very unfortunate.
No. And that's probably the best. I mean, that's probably for the best because then you're just lying to yourself.
That's right. But I'm all for a good ironic nickname.
I don't need my offensive lineman to be Speedy. I need my offensive lineman to be Husky.
Have a nickname Husky.
That'd be good. Andrews leads Waccamaw 30-27. Irmo has doubled up Myrtle Beach. It's 24-12 after 3 quarters.
Heavens.
That's still I'm not quite there yet. Northwood Academy leads Ben Lippen 27-0. That one at the half.
Ben Lippen not challenging to keep the Northwood out of the undefeated club. Looks like Northwood might be safe.
12 minutes away from finding out who's going to leave Eagle Stadium with their first win. Going to the fourth quarter, it's 20-16. Airport over Aiken. And, hey, who cares about first win? Well, I care about first win. But not only, sure, you're 1-3. Who cares? You're 1-0 in the region.
Which is what really matters. That's what gets you into playoffs.
Just saying.
That's it.
Halfway through hour number 3, we'll come back and talk more high school football right after this on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the Game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right here on the Game. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird with you. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Kale joins us again. Go ahead, Kale. You there, bud?
He fell asleep.
Give us a call back, Kale. You know what? Yeah, a little under the weather. Things happen. Perhaps the radio fairy's got him. Who's to say?
The radio fairy. Every time. That radio fairy has some sinister intentions. Maybe the radio fairy is a graduate of the school that Hammond took to the woodshed. Maybe the radio fairy did graduate from Hilton Head Christian. Yeah,
maybe they did. By the way, that was a heck of a catch right there. Watch this throw from Dylan Raiola, and watch the catch here as we get Kale back on the line. Let's go back to the Love Chevy phone lines. Kale, go ahead, bud.
That is a good catch.
Can you guys hear me?
We can now.
There
what you got?
That's better.
I accidentally had my mic muted.
Microphones work at their best. I've learned in this industry, they work at their best when they're on.
See what I did there? I have my mic off. Yeah.
That's next level. That's next level comedy.
What you got for us, Kale?
That's a good piece of advice. Hammond remains undefeated after defeating Hilton Head Christian 55-21. Hilton Head Christian scored 21 in the second half. Hammond took all their starters out by halftime. I also have an update on that Prince Avenue West Side score. West Side leads 35-28 midway through the third quarter.
35-28 over Prince Avenue. That's a college football fest right there. That's a good one. Thank you, Cale.
That is. A lot of talent on the field.
We appreciate it. If you call back, just make sure you've got that mic unmuted when you call us back. Appreciate it.
I'll do my best, but I can't make any promises.
It's the secret to success. I can promise you that.
In this industry. Yeah.
Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Timo wants to talk about a little bit of Dutch Fork. What you got for us, Timo?
Wow, what a night for Dutch Fork tonight. It really was just a spectacle. And the end of the first half, it was 48-0. Dutch Fork held Oceanside to only 55 yards in the first half and 92 yards for the total game, and rattled off 353 yards themselves. Now, the whole second half, it was a running clock, so that's why I'm calling so early, because that second half was just a blur. But, definitely some folks I want to mention here. Maurice Anderson, starting running back for Dutch Fork, only had 8 rushes for 44 yards, but 3 touchdowns out of those 8. So almost half of his runs ended up in the end zone.
That's efficient.
Ethan Offing had a really good night. He finished out with 13 for 16 for 226 yards and a touchdown, but he only had 1 pass in the second half. Pretty much everything. It was everything on the ground. Isaac Shine actually got to shine in the second half because he pretty much was the main ball carrier in the second half. They had 14 carries, 78 yards, and a touchdown. But again, it's just the defense is consistently putting them into position where Dutch Fork can just do the damage they want to do. One of the biggest plays early on was K.J. Smith with a 55-yard reception. They ended up at the 3-yard line just in time, just setting it up for Maurice Anderson to punch in that first touchdown on the second play of the game. So again, they were 6 for 6 in the red zone, Dutch Fork was. So they were about as efficient as you're going to have in a game like this.
That's decent.
So it was a very interesting game. We weren't kind of expecting this kind of game. We thought Oceanside might be up a little bit more, but it's the defense that is setting up the offense to do whatever they want to do on the field. So when the defense is like this, man, it is just tough to really do anything against Dutch Fork.
It really is. Timo, we appreciate it, man, as always. Thorough report.
All right.
We enjoy hearing from you. We'll hear from you next week as region play starts for the Silver Foxes. Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines. Roger's next. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, I got 5 game scores. First of all, Hong Kong 14, Lake Man 14 the third. Barnwell beat Swanson 14-7.
Rip.
Badbury Earhart lead Woodland 21-12 in the third. Keenan beating OW 12-7 in the fourth, and Greenwood Christian beating Auburn 21-7 in the fourth.
All right, Roger, we appreciate it. Let me run through that really quick as Roger gives us 5 scores. I'm just going to bring Roger. Ed, you want to bring Roger in here every week and just have him read us scores? Because he's our scoreboard here.
He's a machine.
HKT and Lake Marion tied at 14. Barnwell dispatches a Swansea, so Ed's got to kick Swansea out of the
But he's not going to forcefully do it because Swansea had such a struggle last year in not winning a game. Ed Bird will carry Swansea out on his shoulders like they're Rudy, and they're going to get a standing ovation as he walks them out of the undefeated
Was Swansea offsides too?
You know what? We're not. Can't even debate that. We're going to smile because it happened, not cry because it's over.
Hamburg Earhart leads Woodland 21-12. Greenwood Christian over Orangeburg Prep 21-7. Here's the one. Keenan leads Orangeburg Wilkinson 12-7. And if I have to check really quick, is that another
Wilkinson
one?
And
another one? Yep, they're 4-0. Could be 4-1 after the night.
Yeah. Now Orangeburg Wilkinson. You know what? Orangeburg Wilkinson also was not expecting them to be 4-0 at this juncture of the season. So maybe not carrying them out like they're Rudy, but maybe Ed Bird will be kind enough to give them a nice orange Gatorade on ice to leave the club with.
Well done. By the way, Timo was talking with us earlier about Dutch Fork. It was announced today that South Carolina has offered Josh Smith, edge rusher from Dutch Fork. They've offered him. He's a linebacker on their board, but they have offered him recently, as in today. And we'll see what happens there if he ends up coming to South Carolina. Here's your score. Batesburg-Leesville 60, Calhoun County 0.
Whoa.
And track meet in Somerville. Somerville was up 30-22. It's now 37-22 after Somerville took the opening kick back for a touchdown. Do you know who Dutch Fork plays next week to open region play, Mr. Camp?
Would that be Chapin?
It would be. On the road at Chapin, 7:30.
It is not getting any easier for Chapin. But they hung tough for a half and honestly should have taken a 22-all tie to the break. Let one slip away right before the half, and that's why a touchdown like that for Somerville, making a 2-touchdown game, makes it a little more difficult. But Chapin has given Somerville everything they could handle, no matter what the final score ends up saying. Right. That was a very competitive first half, and I think Chapin showed us something tonight, and a win or a loss.
Greenwood has retaken the lead. 3 minutes and 11 seconds to play up at Greenwood, and Greenwood leads T.L. Hanna 25-21. T.L. Hanna has the ball. They need 6 if they want to pull out a victory here. Gaffney and Boiling Springs tied at 22.
Oh, there's our game. There's a lot going on right there. 2 undefeated teams in 5A.
Yes, indeed. And RNE leads 26-15 over Camden into the third quarter. Defensive battle there. After a combined, quick math, 41 points scored in the first half, nothing scored in the third quarter there. Cavs have a 4th down to start the final quarter. And here's with the Dutch Fork win tonight, here's your stat line. It's their 12th straight win. It's 14 straight scoreless quarters posted by their defense.
Jeez.
It's their 3rd straight shutout and their 22nd shutout since 2016. And since a passing touchdown by Spartanburg with 4:52 left in the second quarter in week 1, Dutch Fork has held its opponents scoreless for 148 minutes and 52 seconds. That is almost as long as one of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Like they are so dominant at this level to the point where it is comical.
Yes.
Like my brother in Christ, we are almost close to a full Lord of the Rings movie. We're also close to the entire Lincoln film.
Yes.
Dialogue and all of not giving up a point in football action.
Dorman takes over on its own 30. Turnover on downs for Riverside. It is 17-13, 8:49 to go in the ball game between Dorman and Riverside there. Another team that could get dispatched.
Yep, this undefeated club is getting thinner and thinner. We had 42 going into tonight. Swansea's already been, gently let out on the shoulders of Ed Bird, and it looks like we have a couple other schools. We'll definitely be below 40 in this prestigious institution by the time next Friday rolls around.
Aaron Brand scrambles for a touchdown. It's 31-12. Irmo leads Myrtle Beach. Irmo is going to wrap up non-region play with a win, it would appear, as they're up 19 in that ball game. And just got an update from Brandon here. Appreciate it, Brandon. 20-16, Airport over Aiken. 8 minutes remaining.
Hold on. You got to hold on.
Hold on.
You got to hold on. The Fighting Justin Halls for dear life.
I will celebrate in this studio as if they just won a state championship.
Justin Hall will take his shirt off. Tune in to the YouTube stream. We go to the Game TV.
Cannot confirm. Greenville retakes the lead. They're looking for a win. They're up 35-31 over Woodmont with 6 minutes to go in that ball game.
Big time.
I'm telling you.
That'd be a big one for Greenville. They need it, man. They've had a really tough start to this season. That would go a long way for them to be able to get that win.
Yeah, yes, it would. Irmo continuing to do their thing. Northwestern, I think Northwestern right now holds our scoring title. They defeat Nation Ford 67-13.
Good God.
They were down 7-0. They outscored Nation Ford 67-6. down the stretch.
Not very friendly.
Can confirm.
Not a friendly visitor.
Can confirm that is good. Greenwood has the ball again. They can run it out. Hannah only has one timeout. Greenwood will sit on it and get the win over T.O. Hannah. Big win for Greenwood in that ball
loss
game.
for Hannah.
Very, very tough loss for Hannah. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 3 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right after this on the game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird.
Subway ain't what it used to be.
It is not. It is.
It ain't what it used to be,
Good
brother.
Gracious.
It is not what it used to be.
I've heard the word groovy more in the last 5 minutes than I've heard since the 70s. That's pretty impressive.
Still a good word in my lexicon.
A groovy score from Somerville. Somerville leads 37-25.
Tack on a field goal.
Chapin got a field goal, down by 12. 5:25 left to go in the third. We'll see.
That's our slow-moving game of the night.
It is.
A lot of scoring.
It is.
And we've had so many running clock games.
I'm looking for a few more here that'll give you. How about this one? River Bluff, 5-0.
Staying in the club, River Bluff.
River Bluff takes down Sherrall 44-0.
Halfway through the season, staying ITC.
By the way, I told you I wouldn't mention it, but I guess I will. Braves fall to the Marlins 4-3.
Oh,
when you're battling for the final wild card spot, you can't drop games, especially when the Mets are losing to the Phillies. You can't. Okay. All right. It's fine.
That's brutal.
It's fine.
That's
It
tough.
is what it is. Boiling Springs and Gaffney tied at 22 in the third quarter. 4 minutes to go in that one. I'm excited about that one. 22. I'm just still kind of dealing with what I just saw.
Emotionally, it might take you a second to recover from that.
Newberry and Fairfield Central tied at 28. You know, and I shouldn't be that emotional because I've already resigned myself to what's going to happen. So, I mean, it's fine. By the way, the Nebraska Cornhuskers lead 17-10 over the Illinois Fighting Illini.
They are at the break.
Yeah, they are at the break. They're at the halftime break. Syracuse trails 13-10 to the Fighting Trees. The Fighting Andrew Luck's Christian McCaffrey's.
Toby Gerhart. Put some respect on that name.
There you go, Toby Gerhart. That's true.
Yeah, that's the conference game now.
Fighting David Shaw's.
Yeah.
Syracuse is 2-0, by the way. This was that winnable game. Kyle McCord, Ohio State transfer, trying to lead Syracuse back. And that one is gone final. Greenwood defeats T.L. Hanna 25-21.
Tough sledding for Hanna.
But a big win for Greenwood, though, on the other side of that.
Yes.
Good gracious, what a win for Greenwood. As I'm looking at the region standings, if you will, trying to find Greenwood in here, if I can. Good luck.
Scrolling.
Thank you, Brandon. I like it. Brandon hits me on the personal text line.
Not sponsored by any corporate sponsor.
Not at all, but willing to take offers. Jay Eady, freshman quarterback Jay Eady with a touchdown pass. It's 27-16 with 2.5 to go in that ball game. Someone's walking out with a win.
I think that's someone's airport, baby. It's the Fighting Justin Halls.
Ooh. Another deep ball from Somerville, and then a 5-yard rush, 44-25. Ugh.
Oh, that one feels that's a tough one for Chapin, but a big win for Somerville.
It's rough. It is rough.
Massive win for them.
Yeah, and to your point, I like what Chapin did, getting Somerville on the schedule and testing yourself. Somerville's one of the best teams in the state.
Every year.
Year.
They don't have many down years.
They do not. And so that's a good test game for you if you're Chapin. Again, you got Dutch Fork next week, so get your head right after this one. Tough loss, but you got to flush it. You get Dutch Fork at home. 3:51 left in the game. Dorman converted a 4th and 1 at the Riverside 43. That's gutsy.
Yeah, I love it. I love the gall on the play calling.
On the plus side of the 50, at the 43. No, we're not punting. We're not Mark Stoops in this thing.
Nope.
We're going for it. And they get it.
Ain't no cowardly kicking here.
Can you believe that? Punting the ball away against one of the best teams in the country, and you think you're actually going to get the ball back? That's hilarious.
The gall to assume you're just going to get the ball back is classic.
The only difference between Mark Stoops and Brian Kelly is like 3 wins. Anyway.
Ironically enough,
not the point. This from Lou Bajak. Nothing going for R&E on their drive. Tylen Drakeford returns that punt, though, to the R&E 45. So Camden's got the ball, 8:14 to go in the ball game at the R&E 45. R&E still up 26-15, up by 11, 8 minutes to go. It's a 2-score ball game. But, hey, I'll give you this one. Camden doesn't need 2 touchdowns. Give me a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal.
And we're going to overtime.
Oh, boy.
We'd get some free football.
Could you imagine that at Zim Stadium? Zim Stadium would fall to the ground. No, probably not.
The noise out of that.
Whew.
Levels unheard since the Revolutionary War.
Right. Exactly. And that stadium was probably around at the Revolutionary War. Camden was a big spot. Camden was a bustling spot around 1777.
I was going to say probably used during said war.
Burns, the Road Warrior Rebels. That sounds like a professional wrestling name. Burns defeats Wade Hampton 52-0. How many teams? All right, what we're going to do, we're going to have to do an exercise in the final hour, and that's going to be look at every final score and tally up how many points were scored by winning teams today.
Oh, man. That's a lot of math, but I think that's a worthwhile project.
Because, or do we want to put a cap on that? The winning team would have to score at least 30.
Okay. How many winning scores were 30 plus?
Yeah. Right. Let's see here. Yeah, this from Jacob on the artist formerly known as Twitter. The Eagles went for it on 4th and 4. went for it on 4th and 4 and scored that touchdown.
Massive.
Brandon conveniently did not tell me that, knowing what would happen to my octave range. Midland Valley has fumbled, recovered by Gray Collegiate. And I think Gray is about to put that one to bed. And Gray Collegiate will start the year 1-0 in region play.
And their newest region.
And James Island defeats St. James 31-0. That's a lot of Jameses.
The all James Bowl.
The
Jimmy Bowl.
West Florence Knights take down the Lugoff Elgin Demons 28-7. That game has gone final. Lugoff Elgin drops a tough one. That's, again, still say, very good Lugoff Elgin team to keep an eye on.
They're building. I think they have taken a step forward this season.
Camden could have gotten back into this ball game, but it's hard to do that when you fumble.
Oh.
R&E recovers.
Self-inflicted wounds.
Let's see. Gaffney, this game at Gaffney, their quarterback, Javon Gilmore, runs out of bounds. A skirmish has taken place. Multiple flags. Let's see.
Skirmish is one step ahead of a Donnybrook.
And yes, it is, and so much so that this Twitter page is reporting that quarterback has been tossed.
Quarterback has been tossed.
That appears to be the case. Again, that's all unconfirmed, not unsubstantiated, but unconfirmed.
Just unconfirmed, yes.
And how about this one? The Columbia Capitals, 15-0 winners over Wagner Sally tonight. The Caps are 4-1.
Wow, look at that! Another great story. Yeah, because the Caps took a loss earlier this year, but 4-1 after the struggles they've had the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
That could be program changing. This could be the start of something special for the Caps.
Looking at this Irmo offense here, it is the fourth quarter. Ooh, nice play design. Make a man miss at the line of scrimmage. Make another man miss downfield. It's 38-12 in the fourth quarter. Irmo beginning to do Irmo things.
That score a lot of points and don't give up a lot of points.
Right, 38-12.
Remaining undefeated.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll make it happen. 45-28. Woodruff takes down Chesney. The Eagles there, falling 45-28. South Point. Here we go. South Point 56, AC Flora 14. That's a final.
Oh, poor AC Flora, man. They just got beaten by hammers for 4 quarters.
I don't rejoice in that, but nailed that one. Missed on Swansea. I'm nailing the Somerville pick, and I'm nailing the R&E pick right now. So could be 3-1.
This is a banner night for Justin Hall. A banner night for the Justin Hall radio hit on the halftime show every Friday, 1:30. Catch it, folks.
Final hour of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard show coming up on the game. Welcome back in. Final hour of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the game. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird with you on a Friday night. Got a lot of blowouts. Buried the lead. A lot of blowouts tonight, but a lot of great games, including 1 minute left over in Springdale, West Columbia area. I was always confused by the mailing address for my high school. It's 34-16.
Pulling away.
Down 16-13. It's now 34-16. That's 21 points. Late third quarter into now.
You know, like in airports, they announce the departure of
Yes.
flights. This is airport announcing their departure from the winless club.
Yes, it is.
Getting onto the board, baby.
I'm here for it. They punched one in. Aiken had a turnover on downs inside the 10. And then Airport scored. So if I'm looking, again, because now we can talk region ball, right? This was a region game. Final score, by the way, Dorman 24, Riverside 13. Riverside, see ya.
Goodbye. They're about to get a visit. They're get a visit from one Ed Bird.
So your teams that have region wins in Region 4-4A would be North Augusta after tonight. They've already won a game in region. They beat South Aiken last week, so they'd be on top 2-0 in the region. Great Collegiate would be 1-0. Airport would be 1-0, and Brooklyn Casey would be 1-0. South Aiken would be 0-2. Midland Valley would be 0-1, and Aiken would be 0-1 in that region.
Hey, first place. You will be first place in the region after tonight, or at least tied for it. First place.
No, well, you're down a game. North Augusta is going to be 2-0.
That's right.
So you're in second place to a good North Augusta team, to a very good North Augusta team. Final score: Irmo 38, Myrtle Beach 12. Yellow Jackets are 5-0.
That's pretty good.
They start region play next week.
Already halfway through the season. Goodness gracious.
It happens quick, doesn't it? I will say this: football season is the fastest season of any sport in America. I say it that way.
The longest off season.
And the longest off season because Major League Baseball starts and there's snow on the ground and they force the Braves to go out play the White Sox in March.
Gross. With winter weather-related cancellations.
And then you're playing all spring, all summer, and the final game of the season is played 3 weeks prior to Thanksgiving. If the World Series goes 7 games.
If it goes the distance.
Right? The National Basketball Association, not a huge consumer of the product, but I do know it starts in October, and it goes until June. And they've got some new tournaments thrown in there, too. You know, your unofficial start is kind of Christmas.
Yep.
But still, that's a long season. The NFL's pretty long now.
They've made it long. With
Labor Day weekend, Friday nights in Brazil, all the way to February. You know, second week of February.
Right before, usually the Sunday before Valentine's Day is what it's kind of chalked up to.
President's Day-ish kind of stuff, right? So, but then college football, and for that matter, high school football, starts third week of August and is over by Thanksgiving. By Thanksgiving.
Flies by, man. And that off
you only get
so
you only get 12 college football Saturdays a year because college football, for whatever reason, their product weekly is on Saturdays, yet they play their championship game on a Monday. Will not happen when I'm commissioner of the entire sport.
I would thank you for your service.
There are a lot of things that I would change. And the same with high school. You get 10 of these, right? You get 10 Friday nights. And I remember the Friday nights. I didn't play on the field, but I remember the Friday nights. You only get 10 of them, and at home you only get like 5, maybe 6.
Cherish them.
And you get a few playoff games thrown in there, right? Maybe if your team's good enough, or in South Carolina if you won 2 games. It matters, and the fact is you got to cherish them. Doesn't matter if your team's winning 38-12 like Irmo did tonight, or if you're going down to Summerville and you know starting to kind of get a little boat raced a little bit, which is fine. But I will say we got some final scores here. Branchville over Scotts Branch, 41-12. Malden.
Got mauled.
Yeah, by Hillcrest, 51-6.
Hillcrest staying in the club.
Lakewood over Wilson, 17-14 in overtime. Gray Collegiate takes down Midland Valley, 26-21. Gray Collegiate gets their first Region 4-4A win, and they do so over a team that went undefeated last year. And
well earned.
It is over. Our long national nightmare is over. Airport got an interception, and they seal it. Take a knee. That's the best way to win a game, by the way.
Forcing a turnover and
take a knee. No, just take a knee in general. I don't care about the turnover. Take a knee.
Victory formation.
Airport 34, Aiken 16, 1-0 in the region.
That's all that matters. Region record is the most important record you could possibly have. We have a lot of fun with the Undefeated Club. We have a lot of fun talking about overall records. But when it comes to actually making the playoffs,
right,
you need to have an optimal region record. So really, Airport season started tonight. I'm cool with accepting that as analysis. Airport's region started tonight, September 20th, 2024.
I'm a big proponent of that. The other games did happen, but at this point,
if you're on that team,
I'm good with it.
If you're on the team and you're trying to rally the troops, if I'm Coach Fiddler, that's my message.
Efforting to get head football coach Shane Fiddler on the line as soon as we possibly can to talk about that game, because that was a good win. That was a good win. I mean, any win in your region's good. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. We've been tracking this one too. Final, Greenwood and TL Hanna. And our buddy Bill's on the line to talk about it. Go ahead, Bill. Big win for Greenwood tonight.
Oh, yes. It was a very exciting game. How y'all doing down there in Columbia?
We're doing
fantastic.
All right.
Thank you for calling, Bill.
Good. Yeah, it was, I said 25-21. Total plays. There's a lot of yardage in this game. Total plays for Greenwood was 59. Total plays for 336 yards. That's 5.7 yards gain. TL Hanna had 42 plays for 249, 5.9 yards per game. Greenwood now, Justin, you've been listening to me for what, like 7 years doing this?
Oh gosh, don't date me that long. 5 now.
Okay, we'll say 5.
Yeah.
Have you ever known me to call in and say Greenwood passed for 20 times during the game?
No.
It's always been running, right?
Correct.
Passed 20 times for 164 yards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they discover the forward pass?
New offensive coordinator called Chris Liner. Coach Chris Liner, the head coach, is the offensive coordinator.
That'll do it. Yeah.
And he, Tristan Lewis, the quarterback for Greenwood, number 1, he had all-purpose total yardage with 282. So I think I just heard. So he had 282 total all-purpose yards passing, everything. So he took over the game. But TL Hanna they got some good players. I think their big back was that number 28 for them, which is Dalen Williams, I believe. Mm-hmm. He carried 8 times for 36 yards. Nobody carried more yardage than that, 36 yards against Greenwood. The defensive line dominated this game in the last half of the fourth quarter for Greenwood. So, yeah, it was big plays. That 61-yard touchdown pass, TL Hanna, I'm just, I can't believe it. They came back and won like this.
Yeah, well,
the trenches are a lot.
You're talking about, but Bill, you make a great point, and thanks for giving us a shout as always. We look forward to hearing more about Greenwood throughout the season from you as you do every year, and we appreciate it. The thing about this is, thank you, sir. We're talking. It's amazing. Teams change, coaches change, players change, Elijah. But I can tell you that having done this show for, as Bill so notably mentioned, 5 years, and listening
a little bit,
listening to it for most of my life. I mean, there was a stretch where I was listening to this as a little Justin was in his grandparents' house waiting to hear scores, and there are certain names that you just don't expect to hear losing. Dorman, Burns, and not Dutch Fork. Dutch Fork's a new one, but now Dutch Fork.
New age.
Dorman,
it's New Age,
Burns,
South Carolina.
Dutch Fork, TL Hanna. That's immediately who you think about. You're like, yeah, they don't lose. Hartsville, Camden, they don't lose. Lexington back in the day, certainly.
Didn't lose.
It just didn't lose. And so you hear those things and you're like, wow, I cannot believe that just happened. Here's a crazy thing for you. First of all, Ridge Spring Minetta defeated Eau Claire tonight, 21-8. Ridge Spring Minetta Trojans quarterback Jaden Holloway 200 yards rushing.
Oh, goodness.
200. And Ridge Spring Minette is now 2-2.
Have yourself a day, kid.
Here is Darlington took down Lower Richland tonight, 26-12. I hadn't seen that score.
A little bit of a shocker.
York took down Drea at York, 17-14.
Drea having some struggles this year.
They are.
Alex English ain't walking through that door.
That is absolutely correct. There is something that I have to mention. Dorman won 24-13. Here's the craziness that I wanted to mention. Let me see if I can get back to it.
Big win for Dorman, though.
Yeah. Conway was playing Aner. Remember that?
Yes.
There was 0.2 seconds left on the clock.
I did not know they kept it down to the decimal.
They do.
In high school.
Especially when you have timeouts. This from Joe. Joe Wedra. Currently, he's with the Ori News. With 2.2 seconds left in the game, all Conway needed to do was take a knee to end the game. But thinking the game was over, they tossed the ball back to the referee after the snap.
Oh, I have a bad idea. I know where this is going.
The ball was live, and Aner recovered in the end zone. Final score, Conway 35, Aner 39.
Oh, no.
I'm smiling to hide the pain.
That game?
I'm smiling to hide the pain.
What a terrible way to lose that. So they did. So the quarterback got the snap thinking that it wasn't over. Didn't take it. Did he not take a knee?
Yeah, they just thought it was over, so they just tossed the ball back.
That's not how that works. Knees got to touch ground with ball in hand.
I'm aware. I'm aware of that.
I'm so baffled. That game should be over. How do you lose that game? If you're Aner, man, oh my God, that's a gift. That is a gift from the Lord. That is divine intervention.
Yeah. It was terrible.
Oh, I am sick for the kids at Conway. Absolutely sick because that game was won and over. How do you not take the knee there?
Just do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
I mean, Justin, we have whether it be NFL, college, high school, we've seen a lot of football in our time. We've seen so many creative endings to a game, so many ways to heartbreakingly lose a football game. Have you ever heard of a botched kneel down where the kneel down didn't actually happen and the ball was tossed back to the ref before any kneel down happened and a ball being recovered in the end zone to lose it? I can't say I've ever heard of anything remotely close to that happening in a football game.
I'm just going to read this. So let me try to track this for us. Aner had the ball down 35-25 with 3:23 left. They scored, made it 35-33. Onside kick. Conway recovers. Aner is out of timeouts. 2:14 left on the clock. Conway was leading 35-33. These are the remaining tweets. Oh my goodness, I have never witnessed anything like what just happened in my life. Aner just won the football game. Never ever will you see a finish like that. Conway assumed they had won after they had snapped. QB tossed the ball to the ref. That's what I saw. Aner recovers in the end zone for the win. Everyone in this place is still in disbelief. And
I'm in disbelief.
And Conway fans are still sitting on the sideline stunned. Many haven't left. Not many Aner fans have either. Roger, good luck following that up. On the Love Chevy phone lines, what you got for us?
No kidding.
Yeah, score, Hancock 28, Lake Manor 20, with 3 men left in the fourth. Lincoln County, Georgia beat Bluff 41-15. Brooklyn Casey beat South Lincoln 34-27. And Greenwood Crystal beat Auburn Prep 27-7.
Appreciate it, Roger. Another litany of scores. I want to get back. I want to circle back to that BC game.
Yes.
In just a second over South Aiken because there's some region implications here that we needed to work through a little bit because this region's getting wild over here in the Midlands. We'll do that on the other side here on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the Game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird with you on a Friday evening. Final score at Camden, R&E 26, Camden 15. R&E is 5-0. 5-0.
Staying in that undefeated club. Will Wilson, you know what I'm about to say.
Yep.
Real deal.
Yeah. No doubt about that. There's no question about it. I'm looking for their schedule. Now we're starting to look at schedules, right? Because
Coach, talk about your schedule.
my favorite. You get those. You hear those a lot,
all
right?
The time.
Coach, can you talk about? Yeah, I can. What's your question?
Put $1 in the talk about jar.
Just one thing you should never do. It's that. There are some interesting teams in that region, and so I'm looking for who they're playing down the stretch. By the way, Airport gets the win tonight. They're 1-3, but they're 1-0 in region. Do you know their next 3 games are on the road?
Ooh, I'm going to guess Midland Valley, Gray Collegiate. Ooh.
And South Aiken, you went 2 for 3.
Okay.
Not in that order, but you did well.
Was it Meatloaf that said 2 out of 3 ain't bad? Ed Bird, is that correct? Yeah, see? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And 66.6% repeating.
R.I.P. Meatloaf. South Aiken on the road, Midland Valley on the road, Gray Collegiate on the road. Going to kind of define your season there, isn't it?
Certainly.
South Aiken is
really.
South Aiken's 0-2 in the region. Midland Valley lost tonight to Gray Collegiate. I mean, it's not unheard of.
Stay competitive, man. Stay competitive in those games.
By the way, Brooklyn Casey picked up their first win of the night. They're of the season tonight. They're 1-3.
First of the night too.
They
can only win 1 per night.
That's true.
Them's the rules.
They lost to River Bluff, lost to White Knoll, lost to May River. 3 very good football teams. By the way, Airport's losses at a glance were Orangeburg, Wilkinson, May River, and Westwood. Westwood with a good win tonight over Blythewood. So these teams aren't slouches.
Teams, yeah.
They're your next 3 for Brooklyn Casey: at Midland Valley, at Gray Collegiate, home against Aiken. See, that's all. My point is, season ain't over.
It's just beginning. Hey, the start of the region season means like the real season. We've been playing real football. These games have been counting. We get that well documented. But this is when the real football is being played. This is the football that is being played to determine who is playing in the playoffs here once October ends. Yeah, playoffs. We're trying to win a game.
That's gonna live on in infamy, isn't it?
We're gonna have to get that sounder ready for whenever we do get the playoffs rolling.
True. So R&E
incorporate that in some imaging.
R&E had Camden tonight. They won 26-15. Your next 3, Lancaster at home, at Drea, at AC Flora. Funny to note, same stadium, at Dreher, at AC Flora, York at home, South Point at home.
Oh, that South Point game at the end of the season. That could be for all the marbles.
I mean, that's your. I'm sorry, but tell me how this team is not 9-0 going into November 1st.
I don't see a loss until you get to November 1st, where then it's a toss-up. I'm not saying they're going to lose that game. That's not me trying to call a shot right now, but I'm saying that could be your toss-up.
By the way, that Somerville game is still in the balance. But as of right now,
Chapin won't go away. Credit to those kids, man. They ain't going away.
As of right now, we're 2-1.
That's right. The Justin Hall appearance on the halftime show every Friday at 1:30 p.m.
I was cornered. I was cornered. First of all, he told me Terry called me a Daughtry roadie back in the day.
A Daughtry roadie.
I was a wee lad when Daughtry was on American Idol.
It's not over.
If I was traversing the states with him, that might have been a problem.
Gonna do it right this time around.
By the way, 34-27, Brooklyn Casey got the win over South Aiken. Huge win. Let's see here. This is great. We're talking about interviews. A gentleman from the 4-Letter Network, because I'm not going to say his name on here, in that ridiculous in between third and fourth quarter interview of the coach.
Hate it.
What needs to happen to win this game? Fran Brown, head coach at Syracuse, we got to have one more point than them.
Hell yeah. Analysis. So glad we are inconveniencing coaches for that tidbit of infinite wisdom.
And now you know why Greg Popovich was always the way he was whenever those interviews took place. Because it was wasting his time, and he wanted to make sure you knew it was wasting your time too.
Yep. He was going to make sure all the time in the building was being wasted by all parties.
The worst part is when they're showing the interview and having to do it in a smaller screen because the game has already restarted. That to me is the biggest thing. Just a side note there. Hartsville 38, Dillon 28. Final.
Down goes Dillon. Goes Dillon. No one just walks into Kellytown.
No, they don't.
And collects a win like they're buying baseball cards or something. Right. You're not just walking in there taking what you want.
That's right.
You got to pay the troll toll. You don't pay the troll toll, you leave with an L.
Ooh, man. Heathwood, did Heathwood win?
Did they come back? I think I saw where they did come back. 27-21 was
Wow. 21-17 winners over Cardinal Newman. A comeback down 14, and you come back and you win the game on homecoming?
Massive. Hey, Heathwood Hall maybe was surprise winners of the night, not just because they win a game against a good Cardinal Newman team, but they had to come back doing it. We were just talking, in the last hour, how disappointing Heathwood Hall's season has been to date.
Yeah, it's been disappointing.
It's been pretty disappointing.
Greatly disappointing.
But that's a win that can turn your season around, man. I mean, Heathwood Hall, shout out to those kids, man. That is a tough win.
Region matchup as well. Let's go back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Roger joins us again. Go ahead, Roger.
I got 3 games score. Hancock Town came back to be late, man, 28-20. But they got a showdown next week against number 2 Bamberg in Bamberg 7:30 next Friday. And Bamberg lost to Woodland tonight, 25-20 against Woodland. And Fox Creek beat Laney of Georgia 40-7.
Fox Creek over Laney of Georgia 40-7. We hadn't got that one yet either.
No,
Roger.
that was our first look into that game at all tonight.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Appreciate that, Roger. Thank you so much. You know what, Ed Bird, I don't know if we're going to get another better candidate. So can we queue up that Honda Columbia Drive of the Week?
The Drive of the Week, sponsored by Honda of Columbia.
I think it's Heathwood Hall.
Gotta be. Gutsy win.
Trepidation filling my voice, but that's a gutsy win. Down 14, you come back, you win 21-17, you seal it with an interception, and all on homecoming.
Best way to celebrate homecoming.
You can't lose homecoming.
Against a really good Cardinal Newman team, too.
Yeah, you know, you just don't lose homecoming. It's like when Arkansas scheduled homecoming for South Carolina in like 2012. Steve's like, well, I heard it's scheduled for homecoming, but, we've come down here and we played pretty well. Beat them 52-7.
You've got a good Steve Spurrier. I can tell. There's been some workshopping on that.
I had 10 years to take care of it. I'll do my Lou Holtz off the air. Nathan Martin joins us talking Camden. Nathan, tough night for you guys. R&E's a really good ball club. We talked about it last week, man. Will Wilson's a very good quarterback. Walk us through the night. Tell us what happened up there at Zemp.
Frustrating night, but if you had told me that we would have limited Will Wilson to one explosive play and shut them out in the second half and only give up 26 points, I would have taken that to start the night and say that Kenny probably would have won by a touchdown or more. But offensively, just didn't have it tonight. They got up 26 to 15, and we hit a post route for a touchdown to have called back on a false start that should have been blown dead, but they waited till after our receiver scored a touchdown to then throw the flag. So kind of confused on why that took place. That took a touchdown off the board. Camden tonight just didn't have their A game, and give all credit to Richland Northeast. They did what they needed to do and ran the ball the second half and melted the clock. We only got one possession in the third quarter. Richland Northeast held the ball for the whole third quarter, and just picked a bad night to have our worst game of the year. It's not the way you want to start out region play, but we'll suck on this one for 24 hours and then get ready for the Druid Blue Devils come Thursday.
Yeah, tough night for you guys. But again, Nathan, I would consider those bad luck stats. I agree with you. If you tell me before the game that you contain Will Wilson to one explosive play, and you mentioned hold him scoreless in the second half, I mean that's a recipe for a good night for Camden. And just Penalties are what they are, and it seems to be the theme of the week, doesn't it? And so as you guys are looking ahead, you got Dreer next week, and still, I mean, one game does not a region schedule make, but you might be seeing this R&E team again come playoff time, and you guys, with what you're talking about, might have given some teams in your region a blueprint to maybe take care of some business and get you guys back in it without even you having to lift a finger.
Yeah, we definitely tonight we had to play without one of our star defensive backs and wide receiver JoJo Cram. He broke his finger last week, so that takes an explosive player, out of the game. But tonight we played behind the sticks, and we drove the ball at times fairly well. We just could not finish drives, and give credit to Richland Northeast defense. I was looking at their box scores going into this game, they've given up a ton of points. We may be in for an old-fashioned shootout, and it never transpired that way. In Camden, we blocked our 5th kick of the season tonight and had a kickoff return for a touchdown. So Beamer ball made its way over here. We could use a little bit more of that. But we just offensively, we just never did get in sync. And for the first time all season, we have yet to play anybody to a lower classification. We play all 4 or 5 of these schools, and tonight was the first time our offensive line took a whipping at times tonight. So give credit to Richland Northeast for doing that, and Wyatt Thompson. It's hard to throw downfield when you're running for your life.
Yeah.
So just unfortunate tonight, but you got Dreer's a winnable game, and then South Point after that, and then you got the York, Lancaster, and Flora. So at all those, I think all of them are winnable. South Point's going to be tough, but the other ones are definitely winnable. So it's still a lot for Camden Bulldog fans to be excited about tonight. You just got to tip your cap and say, hey, Richland Northeast was a better team tonight, and if we meet up in the playoffs, we'll see what happens then.
That's a perfect perspective. Nathan Martin talking Camden Bulldog football. We appreciate it, man. Enjoy the day tomorrow, and we look forward to hearing from you next week talking about more Camden football.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, let's get that LSU taste out of our mouth tomorrow. Let's take it out on Akron. Go Cox.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. More of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on The Game. Welcome back in. Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Final couple of minutes, kind of final 30 minutes or so here of the program. Glad you're with us. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird at Master Control piloting this ship. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Uncle Lou Bajak joins us on the Love Chevy phone lines. Lou, you were at R&E and Camden. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, I see so many things from people who are covering different games, and it gets kind of lost in the shuffle. Plus, you're retweeting a bunch of different updates, getting tagged in the same things I am. So let's talk about R&E and Camden. I thought it was going to be a blowout, or I thought it was going to be a shootout, pardon me, and that R&E would win a close one late. And it looked like we were going to get that shootout early on, and then in the third quarter, defenses decided to show up. And we talked with Nathan Martin last segment. Camden kind of gave a blueprint of how you can kind of contain Will Wilson, but again, this offense for the Cavaliers is one that's going to really pay dividends for them come later in region play.
Yeah, I mean, neither team scored in the second half. All the scoring was in the first half. Will Wilson had a great first half, had a nice run on a 4th and 1 for 4 yards coming out of the pack, and had a big touchdown that put them up 26-7. You thought Cavs were going to run away, but then Camden scored right before halftime, and then they got the ball back and they were driving deep in R&E territory, but missed a field goal. And then you thought second half teams are just going to, but both teams' defenses played well, and R&E was just, I mean, there was a lot of talk in the pregame. I mean, Camden players on midfield looking at R&E, but they were R&E players weren't biting it, and Coach Wilson made sure his guys weren't in that pregame trash talk. But then this is a huge win for R&E. I know they were off to a 4-0 start, but this is region play now, and one of the tougher 4A regions. And what a statement to go to Zemp Stadium and beat Camden, who obviously played for a state championship last year in 3A, and it's been a title contender for the last 6 or 7 years. So, yeah, huge win for the program, 5-0 for the first time since 2005 when R&E played for a state championship that year. So, a heck of a win, and I know a lot of momentum now going forward.
And now that we're in region play, we can kind of project a little bit, right? And like a win like this for R&E tonight is huge. Not just because, any region win is big, but because I think the top 3 in that region can take on anybody in that classification between those two teams that played tonight in South Point. And then Justin and I were playing the schedule game a couple segments ago, and we saw where R&E and South Point will be taking on each other at the end of the year. South Point's going to take on Camden before that. I think we have a really good chance that all those teams kind of cannibalize each other and split those type of games. But when you look at this region in particular, how much craziness can you really forecast by the time we get well into this region play with this group in particular?
No, it can be. I mean, all those teams, and York and Dreher was a close game tonight. I know Flora got blown out tonight by South Point, but they have the capability on offense to score a lot of points in that. It's just, it's going to be a tough region. Like I said, I think R&E, Camden, South Point are the 3. Definitely, you got Flora just a little bit behind there, but you got teams like Lancaster, York, Dreher, capable of knocking a team off on a given night. But this is a statement for R&E. This is about R&E tonight to see what they are made of, especially going on the road. And they definitely answered any questions that they had, people had about their 4-0 start.
A couple more things here for you, Lou, before we get you out of here. Number one, both teams in Lexington School District 2 got their first wins of the night tonight. You can respond to that if you'd like. Mainly Airport got a win tonight. But that region, by the way, North Augusta 2-0, but you got Airport and Brooklyn Casey who are both 1-0. Gray gets the win over Midland Valley tonight. Lou, do you know off the top of your head when the last time Gray Collegiate played a region football game in varsity?
It wasn't last year. It was the year before that.
It was before that, so you're talking over 300.
2022.
Long time. So that's a tough region in and of itself. Dutch Fork continued to do what they did tonight. I want to talk about Chapin and Somerville really quick, because that game is everything you could ever want in a high school football game. A lot of offense, defense, if you want it. 2-point conversions back and forth. Chapin is heading into a tough region game next week with Dutch Fork coming to town. They have Somerville tonight on the road. What can we expect from this Chapin team down the stretch with Brady Albro slinging it?
Well, I mean, they're going to be able to put on some points. It's just a matter, will they be able to stop teams on that and stop teams. And when you play against defenses like Dutch Fork, who's 3 shutouts in 4 games, I mean, you're going to have to play a little bit better than blocking. I mean, they're going to be able to have to score, put some points, and definitely going to have to play a little bit better defense in that region, because all those teams in that region are capable of putting on some points. Dutch Fork, and you look at what Irmo did again tonight, and White Knoll. So, yeah, I think they're going to have to get better defensively. And you got River Bluff, and they've off to a 5-0 start, a good win over Shiraw. And see how that region, like I said, probably the toughest 5A region in the state. And it's going to be fun to see how it plays out those final 5 weeks.
It certainly will. Lou, we appreciate the time as always. Your game, I mean, it wasn't exactly a running clock, but your game kind of wrapped up a little earlier than you're used to, so that's good. And so enjoy the weekend. We look forward to talking with you next Friday.
Okay.
Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines. Roger is with us. Go ahead, Roger.
I got 2 game final score. First of all, correct score. Fourth grade beat Joseph 47-6. And score you've been waiting for, North Augusta beat Gilbert 37-14. And my alumni, Hunter County Town Pickers, Bamberg next week. As you'll get there before 7:15, you have to stand up because it's going to be so crowded. Bamberg and Hunter County next week in Bamberg.
The Fighting Rogers of Hunter County Tyler. Roger, we appreciate it, man, as always. Victorious. Thank you so much for your updates and HKT getting the win tonight. That's a good one. And now joining us on the Love Chevy phone lines is the head coach of the Our Airport Eagles, Coach Shane Fiddler, joining us on the Love Chevy phone lines. Coach, been waiting to get you in. Obviously, it's been, don't want to talk about, games that don't go well, right? But I don't want to. You can if you want. I don't want to.
The invite's permanent.
But tonight, we've shot some streamers off. We've gotten everything ready. 34-16 win tonight over Aiken. And listen, first win of the season, whatever. You're 1-0 in region play, and that's where it matters at this point, right?
Yes, sir. We've had to lead at halftime last few weeks, and we're starting 11 freshmen and sophomores right now, and we've kind of in the second half just when the game got tight, just hadn't been able to get it done. But this week, exact same situation, and all week we talked about how we need to start embracing adversity, stop running from it. Adversity happens in life, happens in football, whatever. You got to attack it. And tonight we did, and our kids grew up a little bit this week. We got a freshman quarterback, and he threw for a touchdown, called a touchdown, ran for one. Unbelievable game by him. And the most unbelievable part was when Aiken took the lead early in the third quarter, he rallied the troops, and those kids followed, and he led us to victory tonight. And it was nice to get on the other side of one here. Having to lead at halftime every week and not be able to come on top really hurts your soul.
Yeah.
But for us to come out on top, that was pretty good, and the kids feel pretty good. And now we got a long region play ahead of us. So we're looking forward to getting back after it next week.
Coach, you mentioned the 11 and 12 freshman sophomore that you're starting, and that can be incredibly difficult, especially early on. But you can kind of use those non-region games in the first 4 weeks or so of the season to kind of get them acclimated to playing varsity high school football. But what role has some of your older players gotten to play in terms of the experience they've used and being able to kind of pass that on to a younger group of kids who are experiencing high school football really for the first or second time, or at least their first time in really important roles?
Yeah. So, we got Montrell Keys and Bryant Cherry and Jeremiah Gilchrist as seniors on defense, our outside backer, inside backer, and our strong. They're the ones kind of carrying the torch on defense to make sure they have leadership over there, and they've played really well this year. Defensively, May River game was what it was. That offense they run, they're scoring on everybody, but we played pretty tough. And then, OW game gave us a great chance to win, and we just couldn't get it done on offense. And same with the Westwood game. Kind of got funky there in the end, but it was they played so good in the first half, and mostly through the third quarter just couldn't pull it out. But tonight, Aiken did some funky stuff, but they responded. We missed some tackles. We got some crazy penalties that we haven't gotten all year, but they just kept fighting and kept playing. And offense, we got Cooper Langford at guard and Avery Jones at receiver, who just got back from injury recently. And Avery Jones made a big touchdown catch and threw for one tonight. He made a big touchdown catch, and the moment matters most. It was fourth down. We were up 4. middle of the fourth quarter, and, we had a chance to kick a field goal, and I said, we're going for it, and we're going to throw it. And all the other coaches stepped back. They're like, I don't know. And it worked out. We scored a touchdown, kind of put the game away there late. But those 5 guys are seniors that are having the lead right now, and kind of get all the young ones rallied when it counts the most to make the plays.
Coach, one final thing for you before we get you out of here. You mentioned this region. You guys have been at home for a couple of weeks. Your bye week is already in the barn. That's over. That's done with. So now you're on a sprint, a 6-game sprint to the finish, and 3 of the next 3 are on the road. So as you have a team coming off their first win, you got 3 games on the road. It starts next week at South Aiken. What's the message you're preaching to your team now after getting this first win as you head on to a very tough stretch in this new, revamped, very difficult region?
Yeah, it's an awesome region. It's fun. Every week's a slobber knocker. Great football teams in it. I don't know what anyone's scores were tonight. I know what our score was, and I know we're 1-0. And I know next week we play South Aiken. They got us last year in a good ball game, and our kids are going to be pretty motivated. They got a great running back and a great receiver and a really good defensive tackle. They got a lot of good players, tight end. So our kids are excited for the challenge to play those guys at their place. Coach Hamilton does such a great job with South Aiken Thoroughbreds, and excited to get over there and have a chance to go 2-0. 1-0 is a lot better than 0-1, right? And this region's really, really, really hard, really difficult. We know top 6 in our region make playoffs. All 8 probably are playoff teams. Only top 6 are guaranteed. The other 2 got to go into the at-large pool. But we're going to keep preaching embrace adversity. Don't let it get you down. Make it build you up so you can go get the job done. And that's what we did tonight.
Coach Fiddler, we appreciate it, man. As always, the invitation remains open. Look forward to talking with you throughout the year, and hopefully, selfishly, it's more conversations like this as we go throughout the year. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. Go Eagles.
That's Coach Fiddler on the line with us. And now let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines. Let's go to Mark talking about Chapin. That game just went final, Mark, as you noted for me. Let's roll with it. That's a shootout down there in Summerville.
Yeah, first off, what an unbelievable atmosphere up here. It's such a cool spot. Flashing lights, green lights, dark, it's light, it's dark, it's light. It's really cool. High school football experience. Final, Summerville 53, Chapin 32. I can't even find my way out of this place.
That's classic.
Such a great high school football game. Chapin really represented well. I'm not a guy that's going to get all over the rest, but big part of the game is 22-all. Big kickoff. Summerville muffed it. Chapin recovers inside the 10. The kid got hurt on the play, so it was kind of a delay, and all of a sudden they're walking the ball back to kick off. They said it was an illegal kick somehow. I've never heard that in 40 years of watching high school football. But not saying that cost the game. Summerville played awesome up and down the field. Chapin played really well. Brady Albro, again, all over the place through the air. He must have had 400 yards. Kalen Bostic had 3 more touchdowns. And Chapin had 3 touchdowns called back. So I'm just super happy for the Chapin community to come all the way down here and give them a run for their money. Summer's a really good football team, got a really fast running back, really good quarterback, and the defense just got really tired out. So heading back home 2 hours. Last time I was down here, I sent you a picture of that Stratford wide receiver that caught the ball over where the cheerleaders were, and they said he was inbounds.
Yep.
So I don't think they like us down here too much, but we represented well. Week off next, then we go to Dutch Fork, so that's obviously another really tough game, but the way this team played, I think we're right in there in that region hunt. Thanks, God. Appreciate you.
I think so, Mark. Appreciate it. Drive safe. Get home safely. That is a drive from Summerville to Chapin. We'll come back and wrap up the program next here on The Game. Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Final few minutes of the program. Thriller going on at the Carrier Dome between Syracuse and Stanford. Nebraska's up by 7, but it's time for a full-scale scoreboard rundown from across the Palmetto State. Mr. Campbell, take it away.
That's right. For the final time tonight, we are going to give you all final scores, starting with Hanahan beating Timberland 23-6. Ridge Spring Minetta beats Eau Claire 21-8. Northwood gets a big W against Ben Lippen 34-14. Belton Honea Path defeats Palmetto 37-14. Hartsville gets a big win in Kellytown tonight 38-28. Northside Christian beats Spartanburg Christian 34-13. Williamsburg beats Florence Christian 35-20. Wilson Hall shuts out Camden Military, stay undefeated 42-0. Hammond smacks Hilton Head Christian 55-21. Johnsonville gets shut out by Lakeview 37-0. Hannah Pamplico beats Carvers Bay 40-14. Branchville beats Scotts Branch. A lot of branches in that game. The Branch Bowl 41-12. Andrews shuts out Calhoun Falls Charter 49-0. Fox Creek beats Josie 47-6. Woodland beats Bamberg Earhart 25-20. Andrews over Waccamaw 30-27. Hunter Kiner Tyler over Lake Marion 28-20. Swansea gets their first loss of the year. They lose to Barnwell 14-7. Chesterfield comes back and beats McBee to stay undefeated. Sorry, Rick Henry, that was a 28-22 game. Louisville beats Andrew Jackson 27-3. Columbia shuts out Wagner Sally 15-0. Chester beats Union County 54-12. Liberty in a high-scoring game beats Walhalla 60-41. Landrum shuts out West Oak 48-0. Woodruff beats Chesney 45-28. Irmo takes down Myrtle Beach 38-12. They're still undefeated. Lugoff Elgin takes the loss to West Florence 28-7. Bluffton beats Lucy G. Beckham 31-17. Beaufort beats Battery Creek 34-7. Lakewood squeaks one out over Florence 17-14. Darlington over Lower Richland 26-12. South Florence blows out Crestwood. Statement win 42-7. Gray Collegiate beats Midland Valley for the region opener 26-21. North Augusta up on Gilbert 30-14 late. Brooklyn Casey gets their first win of the year over South Aiken 34-27. And the game of the week, Richland Northeast beats Camden 26-15. South Point crushes AC Florida tonight. That was by a score of 56-14. Seneca beats Travelers Rest 63-12. Daniel all over Clinton 37-12. Career shuts out Berea 63-0. Strom Thurmond beats Emerald 26-14. Wando over West Ashley 21-7. In the James Bowl, James Island shuts out St. James 31-0. Sumter crushes Spring Valley 56-7. Spartanburg all over Eastside 49-6. River Bluff shuts out Sherraw right before region play 44-0. Northwestern crushes Nation Ford 67-13. Burns shuts out Wade Hampton on the road 52-0. Catawba Ridge gets a shutout over Fort Mill 30-0. Dorman gives Riverside their first loss of the season 24-13. Aner, in the most shocking way to end a football game imaginable, beats Conway 39-35. Somerville beats Chapin 53-32. Whitenall over Cane Bay 49-13. Gaffney in overtime beats Boiling Springs in the Battle of 5A undefeateds 28-22. Ashley Ridge over Carolina Forest 45-35. Greenwood beats TL Hanna 25-21. JL Mann takes down easily 55-6. Hillcrest defeats Malden easily 51-6. Lincoln County in Georgia beats Silver Bluff 41-15. Westside leading Prince Avenue Christian, not over yet, but they are leading 49-41. Westwood earlier tonight beats Blythewood, gives them their first loss of the year 7-0. Blackville Hilda beats Denmark Olar 20-12. Drea beats York 26-12. Am I doing that correctly? Sounded good.
That was close, yeah.
Close. We're working on it. Workshopping. Jefferson Davis beats the Kings. That's all it says, the Kings. 54-0. Not so much royalty in that game. And that is the high school football scoreboard show scoreboard rundown for the last time tonight.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm on hour number 7 of live radio, baby. Words are not coming out the way that I intend them to.
Elijah marathons it every Friday, and he wouldn't have it any other way. And then covers whatever's happening tomorrow at Williams-Brice, or in case a couple weeks ago, Lexington, Kentucky.
That's right. That's where my money's made, baby. That's where the fun is to be had.
This is the time of year. We appreciate you joining us each and every every Friday night. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun. Had a lot of blowouts tonight.
We did.
A lot of double-digit wins. By the way, make sure to listen to the halftime show. Make sure to listen to the postgame show Monday through Friday, 3 to 6.
Keep the dial on 107.5 The Game, baby.
But then make sure you're tuned in to the halftime show, 1:30 every Friday. We talk about some games to look forward to, and I'm now picking games, and we start 3-1.
You didn't agree to it, but they're making you do it anyway. But you're off to a great start. And you got to flaunt that record next Friday when you go on with Terry and Tyler.
Starting 3-1. All I'm going to say is when they bring me on, it's 3-1. I'm waiting. Just 3-1. Great night of football across state. Thank you if you called in, if you tweeted at us or whatever it is now, posted at us. I don't know what they call it. Thank you for doing that. Awesome show. We look forward to being with you next week. Full scale reach and play for everybody in the state next week. Full scale. All region games, a couple more buys left, but that's okay. Weather's going to start getting colder, and it's going to get fun. We look forward to talking with you about it all next week on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. For Ed Bird, for Elijah Campbell, I'm Justin Hall. By the way, happy 6-month birthday to my little girl, Josephine. She's sleeping. Yes. Stay asleep, please. We'll be back next Friday night. Looking forward to it right here on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the Game.
See y'all then.